Jay Will and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome in, everybody, to a Friday at the Players' Championship. Brent Martineau flying solo. Could have some guests along the way. We did have a guest stop by today here at TPC Sawgrass, not a golfer. Instead, your head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Urban Meyer. Talked to the local media. We got to meet Urban a little bit and say hello, and he could kind of put names to faces. And that's our first in-person introduction since he became the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. Of course, you have to remember Urban Meyer is the head coach of the Gators. There's so much media at that time for Florida that the Jacksonville media, whether it's turned over or even if we covered them like I did back then down in Gainesville, it never really got too close to Urban. I've told you before, he played on our Dream 18, so like we've run into it, but there's no reason for Urban even to know my name, know anything else, and same to be said for so many others. I think he does know some of the folks that have been around, like a Gene Fournette who covered him, but not everybody, and that's the point of it. And so today was a good day to get to see Urban, and Urban's making his rounds. I think he's now left the property, but on the Golf Channel here at the Players, wearing that Jags logo, and it's a good thing, and I think he recognizes that. I think the brand of the Jaguars, the brand of Urban Meyer, it's important to him. It's important to Shad Khan, and it's obviously important in this area. So good day for Urban Meyer to get out and about, talk a little golf, talk about the Jags, talk about what's going on. And we did get to quiz him a little bit about free agency and other topics like Cam Robinson as well. Nothing crazy new on the facility front. It was a question asked. You have to remember, we just talked to Urban Meyer Tuesday. We talked all about it during the show on Tuesday. So nothing new on the facility front other than it is happening. There's no doubt about that, but I think we've been telling you that it's going to happen for a while.
Brent, I wanted to ask you, because something I saw after that tweet was a bunch of people that were a little critical of him being there, saying that he should be focusing on, like, where are you on that? Because I kind of was like, I get why they think that, but, like, how much can you really be doing right now?
Yeah,
you know?
my that's one of my favorite things. We don't know. I don't know if it's a round-the-clock type of thing at this stage of it. If you go out to a restaurant at night, does that mean you weren't getting your job done during the day? Does that mean you're not going to go back after you go to a restaurant and have dinner and do more work? Think about it. That's kind of silly in that sense. There are only so many folks that can go to pro days. We all know who the Jaguars are taking. Do you need to be at Trey Lance's pro day? Well, I don't think you need to fly to North Dakota. Does it do well for you to be here and help sell tickets perhaps or expand the brand? Maybe more than being at Trey Lance's pro day, So I think that is overblown. I don't know how many people are saying that. I didn't see that as much, Kuz, but it doesn't surprise me that we see that mantra. I think that's silly. Listen, if he was at the zoo a couple of weeks ago, he's still been working. He's going into work Saturdays and Sundays. I think he's probably going in at 6 a.m, and he's there till some nights 8, 9, 10 at night, maybe even more. He's probably doing more on the iPad when he gets home. So I think that stuff is all really trivial and silly, and I don't think it means a darn thing, quite frankly. I believe that Urban Meyer, when we went up to see Urban Meyer's hometown, we had basically Urban Meyer had been just stuffed in Jags headquarters for the whole time since he had been hired until through that time, and I think even until now. He's got away for a little bit. I think he came home one weekend, home being Columbus, Ohio. But, I mean, he had been all business during that stretch, trying to find a staff, trying to get acclimated, trying to do all the things to kind of flip this organization around. And if that's a conversation point, I don't think that's one you want to spend too much time on. I don't think you have to question Urban Meyer's work ethic. I think we have to more question Urban Meyer's balance. That's been the bigger question over his coaching career. It's not as whether if he's all in or not. It's whether if he can catch the right break and be balanced enough to get the right amount of sleep and get his mind off it for a few minutes so he's refreshed for the next day to do it all over again. The one word that we kept getting on our trip up north when we spent some time with his buddies, we went to Columbus, we went to Ashtabula, intense all the time, intense. I actually think that's the refreshing part of seeing Urban Meyer out here. I think, first of all, I told you this on Tuesday. I said Tuesday in a tweet, I appreciate his transparency. I think he's revealing and sharing more with you, the fan. This is not about me, the media, or anybody else in the media. This is about you, the fan. I think Urban Meyer has been sharing a lot with the fan. And the transparency, I believe, is appreciated by the fan. And I do think there's a sense of it's appreciated by the media, too. But we're not important in that mix. I think he was great on Tuesday in that Zoom call of what he had to say. I think he was fantastic today, just off camera with some of us when we were doing some introductions, and it wasn't very long, by the way. But I think he also took questions, and I said this to somebody, he doesn't look like he's in a hurry to get out of there, even though he's probably answered some of the same questions over and over and over, and also to us because we just met with him on Tuesday. So I think he's been super patient, really forthright, and has this calm about him. I tweeted this. I talked about it Tuesday. The word I use around Urban Meyer right now, as he says, it's the biggest month maybe in franchise history for the Jags. We know it's big for him as he is setting the tone. And I say the word calm around Urban Meyer. Relax might be going crazy, but calm and at kind of peace at how he set the table to this point and where he's going to go from here. So I have nothing but positive vibes right now from Urban Meyer and what he's doing. I think coming out here today actually was a great idea. And he's off to another function, I think, this afternoon and probably somewhere in the office and connecting with his scouts and Trey Lance's pro day and all the rest of it. And he's going to other pro days. But I do think it's worth reminding folks, every coach is not going to be at everybody's pro day. That's not how it works. We've been to a lot of pro days over the years. They don't go to everybody's pro day. Urban Meyer went to the most important pro day. In fact, he got that young man, Trevor Lawrence, to move his pro day up so he could throw before having surgery, and he had the front row seat and a better seat than anybody else. Why? Because they're picking Trevor Lawrence. That's why. And so that is the most important thing right now. And I think Urban will be front and center at a lot of other places along this journey as they get closer and closer to the draft. But now things shift to free agency. No doubt about it. Free agency coming up in less than a week. I did ask him about that. We'll hear from Urban Meyer, but he said it's going to be a wild 48, 72 hours, They are going to be just in that moment for that time frame, especially early on. And one of the things he said, and he's very candid about, he's not comfortable not meeting these people that he's going to sign and invest in. And you just don't get the opportunity, whether it's because of Zoom calls versus visits, or we know how free agency works. Sometimes you just don't get that chance. You got to go bid for a guy and throw money at him and say, gosh, I hope he takes our offer, and we hope we're right about giving him that offer. That's the way free agency works. So, again, I thought Urban was candid in that regard, too, saying that he doesn't like that part of it. He's uncomfortable with that part of it. And he's got to get used to those things and that about the NFL. In recruiting, you never sign a guy sight unseen. You just don't. You have vetted him to some degree, and that's just not the case with most of the time, by the way, in recruiting. Urban Meyer's been in a living room with that young man that he's going to recruit at the college level. It's a really different scenario in free agency, and that's why we know it's risky business in free agency as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about Urban Meyer, his visit, what he had to say. Thought he was good on Cam Robinson. Again, the affinity for Cam in the offensive line continues to jump out at me. I know Ben, who's been listening to the show and has been commenting about the offensive line. I don't know if he's listening right now. He's probably not going to like that because I know he's concerned about those two young tackles in Cam Robinson and Jawan Taylor. I don't sense that same level of concern from Urban Meyer. He did reiterate today that those guys have to get better. They all have to get better as a line, but he likes his line. And what the Jaguars did today to reinforce their line and depth is re-sign Tyler Shatley, who quietly is a very nice story for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tyler Shatley has been around since 2014 as an undrafted guy. He's one of those players that while the Jaguars were losing, right, year after year after year, we'd continue to get these one-year deals, two-year deals for Tyler Shatley, and everybody's like, why do they keep keeping Tyler Shatley around? Well, I think the guy's answered the bell. He's been underrated, and I think he's been one of the most valuable. I'm not going to put him at the top of the list and go crazy and overdramatic here, but I think he's been one of the most valuable undrafted free agents in Jaguars history. quietly, because he can play center, he can play guard. I think when he comes into those games in those pitch hit situations, I think he does a really nice job. I don't feel like we hear his name a lot. Yeah, he's had some holding penalties. I'm not saying he's been perfect, but I think he's been very good in that role, and the versatility gives the Jags something they like, and he's still got some good football. There was a lot of thought inside that building before the coaching change that they might not be able to get Tyler Shatley back because of the way he's been able to play. Somebody else might sign him away and make him their starter. I don't know where the league falls on Shatley in that regard. That obviously didn't happen because the Jags are not letting it happen, or Shatley just wasn't interested in going to test free agency and turning down the Jags offer. But Tyler Shatley, well received in Jacksonville. I think is appreciated in that building by past regimes and now this regime, and I think that's quietly a very good signing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk a little bit about it more in a bit, but I'm going to go back to the offensive line when Urban Meyer talks about it. If you think about the 5 starters they have, which are going to be the same 5 starters they had last year, which is very important on the offensive line in terms of continuity, then you think about Tyler Shatley, again, continuity. Call him the 6th man of their offensive line if you want. And he's been around since 14. He knows the coach. He knows the players. That comfort level here in Jacksonville is good for Shatley, and it's good for the Jaguars. Then you add in a guy like Will Richardson, who I think they like in a depth role, and his ability to play multiple positions. I'm not trying to tell you Will Richardson's a Pro Bowler or all-pro guy. From a depth standpoint, though, at least you have a comfort level with a guy like Will Richardson, former 4th-round pick. And then you add in maybe the biggest question mark, but a huge ceiling. At least that's what the last regime thought. We'll see if this regime thinks so. And that last regime did include this scouting staff and also Trent Baalke, by the way. And that is Ben Bartch. Where does he fit in there? How long will it take him to blossom and be a part of that offensive line, take somebody's place? We'll find out. Again, a guy that can play multiple positions. Looks like they're more seeing him as a guard, but Ben Bartch adds to the depth of their offensive line. So you take 5 players that are starting for multiple years now. You take that interior, that's really a veteran group. You add to it Tyler Shatley, the 6th man, I'll call him, veteran guy. You add to it Will Richardson, and you add to it a young fella in Ben Bartch who has a nice ceiling. Tell you what, that's 8 deep. You know who wishes they were 8 deep and maybe had a couple of those guys? Kansas City. Kansas City in the Super Bowl wishes they were 8 deep. So I like this offensive line way more than everybody else does. And I'm trying not to over-dramatize that part of it. I'm just telling you, I'm kind of all in on the offensive line way more than other folks. And I always bring this up. Fans hate the offensive line. Every fan base, with the exception of like Dallas a few years ago and, maybe Indianapolis now and the Ravens at times, they hate their offensive line. They just do. They always hate their offensive line. So I kind of like the offensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's in a good place. Trey Herndon also gets re-signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he is back at the corner spot. Does he play corner? Is it a security blanket, an insurance policy if the Jags don't add there in free agency or the draft? Is he their starter, or is this a depth play? And I'll throw one more thing in there. Can Trey Herndon play the nickel? Can they move him to the nickel, which he has done at times? And I think there are some folks, again, I go back to the old regime, and I don't know how Urban Meyer and this current regime feels about it, that thought he might be better suited at times for the nickel. So where does Trey Herndon fit? Well, he fits on the roster. The Jacksonville Jaguars re-sign the young corner out of Vanderbilt. He will be back in 2021. So that's a catch-up of the Jaguars football news. We'll get to the NFL news. That includes Tom Brady extension, Cam Newton back with the New England Patriots. That will be on the way as well. But we are live at the Players' Championship. Let me give you an update. Chris Kirk and Matthew Fitzpatrick in the lead at 7 under. Chris Kirk, what a round. 7 under today. This morning's round, a 65 after an even par round 1. Matthew Fitzpatrick now 3 under through 6 to climb into the lead with Kirk. So there's some good scoring out there. Denny McCarthy makes a hole-in-one on the 3rd hole, shoots 3 under par. He's 6 under. Brian Harmon, 6 under. Bryson DeChambeau, there's your star name of the week, and he is 1 shot off the lead going into the weekend. Bryson DeChambeau, who got off to a rough start in his 2nd round on the 10th hole, rallies big time to go 3 under. Back-to-back days, shoots 69 Thursday, 69 today, and he is 6 under par. Garcia, as in Sergio, your first-round leader, has dropped the shot through 8 holes, so he's now 6 under par. You got a bunch of players at 5 under, including Lee Westwood. John Rahm up to 4 under after a second-round 68. Keegan Bradley looking good at 4 under. Jason Day, a former champ here at the Players, he's 3 under par, and he is done with 36 holes. Louis Yu stays in also 3 under. Got a bunch of players at 2, like Patrick Reed and Daniel Berger. Tyler McCumber, 2 under through 11 today. The local guy at 2 under par and in really good position. Billy Horschel, 1 under after his front 9. He is also 2 under par. So some of the names you know, Zach Johnson with a good second round, shot 68 after an opening round 75. He will make the cut. And Phil Mickelson finishes... actually, he didn't finish. I didn't realize Phil was just playing his first 9 holes when I got him on 17. I don't know why that didn't register with me. Hit a good shot on 17, but missed the birdie putt. And shot an even par 36 on the back 9. That's where he went out first. He's now on the second hole, and he is tied for 35th at 1 under par. So you know how Phil plays. Sometimes it can get erratic and go sideways. Keep an eye on the next 8 holes for Phil Mickelson, as the former Players champ from 2007 tries to make the cut here at TPC Sawgrass. Well, it's the mantra of the week. We've got some awesome golf. We've got some awesome weather. And, again, hard to say the course is playing difficult. If you're in good form, birdies are out there. Guys have shot 7 under. Sergio yesterday and then Chris Kirk today. So it's possible to do it. You just have to play good golf here at the stadium course. And that is a little bit more difficult to do. We got a lot to get to today. You know, I mentioned about Urban Meyer. We're going to talk to a guy that played quarterback at Ohio State, who goes all the way back to when Urban Meyer was a volunteer coach in high school, and then the early days when he was a grad assistant at Ohio State. So we're going way back to the early years of Urban Meyer, and we'll have that conversation coming up in the show today. Could have some guests stop by, like Marcel Robinson and Stuart Weber, who are here on property, working for us for the Players Championship, putting some TV stuff together. My buddy Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs might stop by along the way as well, and hope to get a golfer or two on if they finish their round in time before 6 o'clock here on the show. Brent Martineau flying solo at TPC Sawgrass. Austin Lane getting ready for his fight. Today's the weigh-in. He'll have no problem with that because he doesn't have to worry about weight at 6'6", 245. Hopefully his opponent weighs in okay so they can have a fight tomorrow down in Orlando. It is the eve of fight number 19 in his career for Austin Lane, so we wish him luck, and can't wait to see how he does tomorrow night. Talk all about it on Monday. Coos is hanging out. Coos, tell us a story, man. The power's back on at your house after you didn't pay the bill. Did your credit card go bad, or did you just decide not to pay the bill?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure what happened there. But, yeah, that was not a fun situation, especially with my fiance, who's obviously working very hard at the same location you're at right now, TPC Sawgrass. So she came home a little tired because I think she left for work. To put it in perspective, I think she left for work at 3. I left for work to come here at 10:30. I got home at 7. She didn't come home till 9:30. So when she came home and the power wasn't on, she was a little less than happy about it.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, and then that was good. You tried to be sly, right? I mean, you tried to kind of do a little candlelight dinner and say, hey, let's, you've been working hard. Let me take care of you tonight.
Yeah, the other problem was, everything in the fridge went bad because the power had been out. So I had pizza delivered.
There you go. You got to think quick, man. You got to think quick. I'm glad your power is back on.
And it was close. It was one of those things where I was like, well, it took me a while to figure out what was going on and I think I mentioned this to you and Austin, like last week. I kept being like, oh my gosh, spam risk keeps calling me. Well, apparently my phone flagged the electric company as a spam risk. So when I would get a call, I wouldn't pick it up. And then when they would leave me a voicemail, I was like, well, it was spam risk. I'm not even going to listen to it. So I deleted it. And that was them saying like, hey, you're an idiot. Pay your bill.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you got it all worked out because you don't want that happening too much, and you got to pay your bill because that's bad for your credit.
Well, yeah, that's the other part. Is then the whole like you let this happen. We're trying to buy a house. Situation came up.
You'll be doing like an endorsement for badcreditreport.com or whatever if that even exists. I have no idea. But
yeah, no, for sure.
All right, hey, let's get it rocking and rolling here on a Friday at the Players Championship. Man, what a week. You asked an interesting question, too, Kuz. Like, what's your best event in Jacksonville? I think a lot of people interpreted this as, like, sports. Yeah. I don't think you meant that. I mean, it could be a music festival. It could be World of Nations, right? Yeah. Was recent.
Even one of the the Rhythm and Ribs down in St. Augustine comes to mind for me just because I went to Flagler. So, like, I know about that event in April. I love going to that event.
Yeah, so I like the way you asked that. Maybe we'll talk about that, get some responses along the way. But when we come back, I want to talk about the Jaguars. In the title of the show today, the initial tweet out there on Facebook, YouTube, if you view the show that way, I said the Jaguars are winning right now. They got to keep it up. What do I mean by that? The Jaguars are winning. Well, I'll share my thoughts on it. What they're doing here in March that really seems to be going over well. And can they carry the momentum into free agency, the draft, and then hopefully into this 2021 season, year number 1 of the Urban Meyer era? We'll talk about it. We'll update you on the Players' Championship along the way. And, the Gators are playing in the SEC. We'll update you on that. Florida State will play tonight in the ACC right here on ESPN 690. Bunch to get to. Stay with us. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, live from the Players' Championship, brought to you by Talon Wealth Management this week. Thanks to them for sponsoring our live coverage here at the Players at TPC Sawgrass.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and pleasantly warm today. Highs will reach the upper 70s, inland, cooler at the beaches. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax for the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com. We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill St. Augustine is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy egg, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient, breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY. I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
Action Sports Jacks will be live from the Players Championship Wednesday through Friday. Listen for exclusive interviews and updates from the course. Hear Action Sports Jacks from 3 until 6 p.m. from the Players Championship, sponsored by Talon Wealth Management on ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Austin Lane.
And Tony Khan clap back. There you go, Kuz. There's a clap back for you.
Clapped.
So,
it's a
clapped.
gamer thing.
Eric Clapton. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a good gamer name.
I'm using that tonight.
Gamer name.
Check your boy, I'm Eric Clapton.
Oh, that's so good.
Brent Martineau.
Yeah. You guys just had a moment.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Yeah, this is, I'm waking up in the middle of the night staring at the ceiling trying to put this, all of us are trying to put this thing together, because this is, you just look at the history, which I have in the last year, just looking through the history of the NFL, how many chances do you get to build a roster like we are? You have cap space, 11 draft picks. You can't screw it up, man. I mean, you got to get the right people, you got to get the right, and our coaches, and the number one thing I'm looking for is a mesh between the personnel department and our coaches. And ultimately, a coach is in charge who goes in his room, and that's, you know, you mentioned Janoris, Raekwon McMillan. I got a bunch of former players out there that I'd love to get, but I got to make sure they fit in that room.
That is Urban Meyer earlier today here at the Players Championship. He stopped by, talked to the local media, talked to other media as well. I think he was on the Golf Channel, and that's what he had to say about players like Janoris Jenkins and other players that he has relationships with over the years from college days. Would he be interested? Janoris Jenkins, of course, is available in free agency. I thought, once again, he continues to punch home. And the mantra came out yesterday. We talked about this. It's own it, right? Well, he's not afraid to put it out there, how big this next month is. And the quote that just stuck out there in that 20 seconds or so was, you can't screw it up. And that's the position the Jaguars are in. You know, I said this about this job before Urban Meyer was hired, and before they even made moves at GM and head coach back in December. The job that somebody was walking into was a no-excuse job. And I think that's kind of what Urban Meyer is talking about. Urban Meyer continues to tell us, hey, the owner really wants to win in a bad way. The owner is going to spend and do whatever it takes, facility-wise, free agency-wise. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of draft picks. They have the number 1 overall pick for the first time in franchise history. They have a couple of nice things on their roster already. Nice players, nice pieces. It's a no-excuse job. If you walk into this position with all that money, with 11 draft picks, a number 1 overall pick, that alone, if you're a GM in this business, if you're a coach in this business, you're either going to get it right or you're really going to screw it up. And if you screw it up, you're out of a job. We know how that works. If you get it right, we could be looking at a run here in Jacksonville that is unparalleled for this franchise and really exciting around here. And so I love the fact that Urban Meyer continues to be transparent about that. He knows what it is. He's not running from that. That's what it is. We have a great situation. Now we got to go hit a couple home runs. And he'll probably have to hit some doubles and singles along the way too. But Urban Meyer knows what it is. And that's what it is. It's a no-excuse job for Urban Meyer, for Trent Baalke, for Shad Khan, the way it's set up right now in Jacksonville. And they have to make the most of it. And I love the fact that Urban Meyer continues to say it and admit it and doesn't hide from it, doesn't run from it. I like that a lot. So, I tease this at the outset, and I put in the title of our show today, and the Jaguars are winning. So what you're going to say as the fan who's been a fan of the Jaguars for a while is, Brett, they always win the offseason. I get it. And quite frankly, it feels like they win the offseason, but they really haven't won the offseason too many times, right? Or they wouldn't have been 1-15. They wouldn't be in the situation they're in with one winning year in the last however many. It's been really a miserable 10 to 12 years. So they might feel like they're winning the offseason at times, but they actually don't. I think this is more about feel instead of actual moves right now is what I'm talking about. The moves come next week. The moves came a little bit early on with the head coach, the GM, what Shad Khan did, and then what Urban Meyer did to build the staff. But now the moves in terms of how you are on the field, I'm a big believer. It's about the players. Urban Meyer's a big part of it. I think he's going to set the culture, the tone, all this stuff. He's a good coach. We know what he can do in terms of winning football games. But it's still you have to have the players. And that's about to happen over the next week with free agency and beyond, and then into the draft. But where I feel like the Jaguars are winning, and the reason I say this right now, is the Jaguars are doing a lot of things right. They didn't do everything right when Urban Meyer hired the strength coach from Iowa, Chris Doyle. Okay, that was a bad 24 to 36 hours. Fair enough to criticize. Didn't work out. I will say they pivoted rather quickly, and that story has kind of disappeared. And that was the right move in hindsight to pivot. What I mean by the Jaguars are winning right now is Urban being out here, Urban being transparent, Urban being transparent to you, the fan, and kind of letting you in, and you know what's going on, and you're excited about it. He is wrapping his arms around Jacksonville, around the Jaguars, and he's trying to make this franchise relevant across the league and the nation. I think he's doing all he can to make that happen, and I think the transparency is an important part of that. I'm going to also pump up my buddies over at Jaguars.com. And I know it's not just these guys. It was a whole staff. But my buddy Pete Cav and Dave DeCandis, they do a great job. I used to work in our Action Sports Jacks department. We didn't train them. They just got better when they left. But they did a great job with their first edition of The Hunt. And you've seen this before that the Jaguars have done. It's a really good, I don't know what it's going to be, 5, 6, 7 episodes, but it will take you through the offseason. This was installment 1. And in that, they obviously behind the scenes are sitting down with Urban and Trent Baalke and the rest, and they go into a draft meeting. It's kind of cool. So they have some cool stuff in there. They did a great job putting it together. It's well done from an industry standpoint. It was really well done. But what I love about what the Jags did in there and what Urban Meyer probably had to sign off on is they are not hiding from Trevor Lawrence. They are not trying to disguise the fact that Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, they didn't send Urban Meyer to North Dakota because they're not taking Trey Lance, folks. They've been very forthright in saying, that's our guy. They essentially said it in that episode. Go check it out on Jaguars.com. They once again said it, and they've said it multiple times. That's our guy. They will throw in, we're looking at other quarterbacks. Of course they have to do that. They have to do that. But that is our guy. And I think from a fan perspective, from an organizational standpoint too, don't muddy this thing up. If Urban says we can't screw it up, well, don't screw this part up. This is easy. Go get the best quarterback to come out of college, potentially since Andrew Luck and only one of a handful that have been looking this good to come into the NFL. Don't muddy it up, messy it up. Don't screw it up. Just say we're going to get the guy. They have to avoid a little bit of that conversation because I think the league wants a little bit of drama going into the draft. But we all know what they're doing with that number 1 pick. Trevor knows, Urban knows, Shad knows, the fan knows, everybody knows. And so I think just if you take a look at what they're doing, I think I love the transparency above everything else. And to me, that's very good coming off a 1-in-15 year when you have all this excitement in the offseason of the number 1 pick and Urban Meyer, and some people will like it, some people won't, but the bottom line is there's a buzz. Tickets have been selling at a crazy pace since Urban Meyer was hired and since they got the number 1 pick. And why stop that? Why stall that? Don't. Embrace that instead. And I give a lot of credit to Urban Meyer so far because I think he's calling a lot of the things down there. And he's not shying away from that. He's not closing this thing up like Fort Knox. Instead, he's relating to you, the fan, and your excitement and saying, we're not gonna deny you that. We're gonna let you in. We're going to let you in this fun time, this fun experience. And we're also not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you we're not going to take Trevor Lawrence. We're basically taking Trevor Lawrence. And I understand they haven't fully said it, but they're saying it. And so all that stuff together is why I think the Jags are winning. Now they have to keep the momentum. Now gets the tricky part. You know, the feel-good part of the offseason, I think they're doing a great job. Again, they had the 24-36 hours with the Doyle situation. That wasn't good. Outside of that, I think the last couple of months have been very good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now they have to go get the right players, make the right moves. Now it gets a lot harder. This stuff's easier to control. This stuff's easier to message. Now you're spending big bucks. You're going to get players you don't know very well. We know free agency is a chance taker anyway. And then you'll lead into the draft where you have 11 picks. And while you're never going to hit on all 11, you better hit on a bunch of them. So the good news is we know what one of those picks already is. That's why I think the Jaguars have won to this point as we sit here on March 12th, heading into the weekend right before free agency. Now it's the next stage, the next phase. Maybe that will be episode 2 of The Hunt on Jaguars.com. But how this shakes out over the next 6 weeks, if you want to break it up in stanzas and you go for the last 2 months, and now what happens the next 6 weeks, that's the next thing to win for the Jags. Can they do that in free agency? Can they keep the momentum of feeling good, get the right guys, get the right mix? Can they do it again late April in the draft and do the same thing? And then it will pivot to, okay, coach them up. What schemes you're running, how good are you really, and then we'll get to a fourth phase, and that's the actual season. So if you look at phase 1, I think the Jaguars have absolutely killed it. Stanza 1, if you will, quarter 1, if you want to talk football. I think they've done a really good job so far down there, and Urban Meyer's leading the way on that front. Let's get Steven in real quick before we break on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. What's happening, man? You want to talk Jags?
Hey, not too much. Of course I do. That's why I called. I saw on Twitter that they posted that they had a Zoom call with the defensive end / edge rusher, Joseph Asai from, I guess, our new coach, Chris Ash, coached them, and they seem like they might be interested. I know, edge rusher shouldn't be at the top of our list, but when you watch tape on the guy, I mean, the guy is just an overall beast coming from the outside. So I don't know if that might be a possibility, but Chris Ash seems to have put his opinion and really liked him.
I saw that same thing, Stephen. I saw that in the tie to Chris Ash as well. I think what's going to be fun to watch, and I'm not going to sit here and rave about this guy or not. I mean, I'll take the word of Chris Ash and others. But I think what's interesting with the makeup of Urban Meyer's staff is the fact that you have guys coming from the college game, coming from the NFL game. Some have done a little bit of both. And so the mix of free agency, their knowledge about certain players in the NFL versus the mix of college and their knowledge of guys at the collegiate level is really interesting. And by the way, those guys that know the college player also know most likely the fact what they were like in high school, know a little bit more information about their background. Now, years later, have seen them mature the next time they meet them and are like, wow, this guy's come a long way, or I knew this guy was going to be like that. I think the NFL guy who might see a player here or there or seen tape of him just knows probably how good of a player he is, doesn't know the makeup as well. But that mix of the coaching staff for Urban Meyer, I think could be beneficial. And to your point, Stephen, this has been brought up in the past, and I like the point. And this will be more of a conversation point when we get toward the draft, because this isn't a free agency thing as much. Urban Meyer knows a lot of these college players better than a lot of the NFL, even GMs know them, because he recruited many of them going to Ohio State. Not all of them, of course, but some of them and many of them. So that gives you maybe a little bit of an edge knowing them for that long. That's even Urban Meyer. I'm not talking about a scout or an assistant coach. And so I think that advantage is maybe subtle. I don't know how big it is. I think that's a point worth bringing up every now and again. And I think it speaks to what you're talking about with one of his assistants in Chris Ash as well. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. Listen, the one thing we know is this. You can't pick everybody that you know. There's going to be a lot of unknowns. Urban Meyer admitted that today, that, hey, he's going to bring some people in here that he has no idea about him, never met him. They're throwing a boatload of money at him to bring him in and be a part of this locker room, this culture, this football team. And he even said it. He's uncomfortable with that part of it. I would think many people would be uncomfortable with that part of it. Get used to it, Urban Meyer, though. That's the way it works, especially in the early stages of free agency. We'll give you an update on the Players' Championship. We talk more football, of course, along the way. It's all on the way on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're live from the Players' Championship. Our live coverage all week, sponsored by Talon Wealth Management.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Friday. I'm Jake Mitchell. In spite of the fact that a weak offensive line was the reason the Kansas City Chiefs struggled so hard in the last Super Bowl, they have still cut both of their starting tackles, both of which missed the big game because of injuries. The move clears about $18 million in cap space. Here's Diana Rossini, ESPN NFL reporter, with her take on the situation.
We talked last week all about this week being a really difficult week. We called it a massacre. At least one coach told me that. And that's what it is. Look at what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. An offensive line that we knew was struggling in the Super Bowl because they didn't have those two guys, no longer on the team now.
In college hoops, the Duke Blue Devils have pulled out of the ACC tourney and subsequently canceled the rest of their season due to a positive COVID test and contact tracing. The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Max. He came out and said LeBron should, stay out of politics. And that when people, they should stay with what they're great at. And he doesn't like it when people venture into politics. And it's not that he'll stay out of all social issues. His name, the way he was treated at times and everything, that's a social issue. But listen to LeBron, he should, and a lot of people heard this as shut up and dribble.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces, this crave-controlling meal smoothie has non-GMO whole fruits, naturally derived caffeine, and absolutely no syrups. Or try strawberry pineapple or mango ginger. Start your healthier habit and order online at smoothieking.com. Now for pickup or delivery at any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King, rule the day.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Happy March and almost happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate at Culhane's Irish Pub. A special menu for the day and catering available too. Culhane's Irish Pub has 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day at culhanesirishpub.com. But don't wait until March 17th. Go today for lunch or for dinner. Eat in, order out, happy hour, or even try the luncheon, brunch, and boozing specials. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Well, Amy and I talked about it. I mean, we're extremely busy, but I thought it was really important to come out here because this is one of the first times I get to show support for. I love this community. I know this community very well. Obviously, I was in Gainesville for 7 or 8 years, and our kids were here constantly in baseball tournaments. I recruited great high school football in this area. We do the Tim Tebow event. We come down here just to spend a weekend once in a while. So that was a big part of why I took the job. There'd be nothing greater to see the 904 in Duval County and Jacksonville just explode behind this team. And we have not a good owner, we have a great owner. And to see him, hopefully that's why we're all working so hard to get him some success in the NFL.
That is Urban Meyer today here at the Players Championship. Our live coverage from TPC Sawgrass brought to you by and sponsored by Talon Wealth Management all week long. Friday at the Players, usually a loud and rowdy crowd around 17 and 18 and even 16. A little bit more subdued today, and, well, that's because there just are not that many people out here as normal.
It's usually a day I'm really, really, really upset with our sales team because they're, like, out partying out there because they're, they bring the clients out and do their whole thing, and I'm always like, well, I want to be there.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, like, for folks that are new to our building, say, right, and I'm sure a lot of different offices have this, this is a day where you either go out with clients or maybe the station kind of checks out early and they all bring their employees out or whatever business you're doing. Just think about if you were hired in the last year and a half or something like that. Well, you probably haven't done that here at the Players. One of the marquee events of the area, if not the marquee event, and you haven't had that opportunity. So you keep hearing everybody's talking about the Players, Friday at the Players, Saturday at the Players, and you haven't been able to come out.
Well,
and unless you got tickets this time around. And again, you can get tickets, or you could have got tickets.
Yeah.
It's sold out, but only 20%.
Well, and the other part of that, too, is if you were hired in the past year, you probably haven't seen most of your coworkers, too. That's another part of it.
Yeah, you might have to introduce yourself.
Right. Well, that's how I thoroughly expect that. Like when we finally can have people back in the building and the salespeople are back, I'm going to be like, I know none of you. Like, I've never seen you before.
Very true. Hey, how about this? The Players' Championship. We just got, I think somebody asked on one of the feeds on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, somewhere along the way, asked, hey, where's the little dude? Where's Noah today? And Noah's back home. He's got school. He did a Creekside baseball game last night. But he's been texting me, and he said, I think I'm a good luck charm, which maybe this is good for me, and I need to go buy a lottery ticket. But Noah did a fantastic job on the show yesterday. He interviewed out on the range before Chris Kirk played his first round. He interviewed Kirk. He shot 72 yesterday. He shot at 65 today and was just in the lead, and now Lee Westwood has bumped him out. But Chris Kirk, so a little Noah bump on the interview. And he also interviewed through a translator Sun Jae Im. And Sun Jae Im is now 7 under par, 7 under on the day through 12, which means he's still got plenty of action left, and this could be some crazy round by Sun Jae Im if he's able to finish it off. You want to know how good of a round Im is having? Birdied 15, 16, 17, 18, 1, and 2. It's the ties a tournament record for most consecutive birdies, marks his career best birdie streak. And Sun Jae Im is one shot off the lead because of that flurry of birdies here on a Friday at the Players' Championship. Lee Westwood, he is playing well, 5 under par through 13. Remember, he almost won last week's event at the Arnold Palmer down there in Orlando. Westwood in the lead here at the Players' Championship by 1. And Westwood would be a wild story because I'm going to have to double-check this. But I remember Lee Westwood, when I first arrived in town, he was the guy that didn't want to play this event. Didn't like the event, didn't like the course, was one of the world's best, but didn't show up, I think, one year because he didn't like the course. He didn't like the event. I remember that being a story. I'm going to look it up just to make sure I'm not falsifying information here. But I believe that's the case, and now you come back and Lee Westwood here is in the lead on a Friday at the Players' Championship. What a story that would be. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 7 under as well. So a 3-way tie, 1 shot behind Westwood right now. The only guy that's in the clubhouse is Chris Kirk with the 7 under. Again, Westwood in the lead. DeChambeau, 6 under par, primed for a big weekend for Bryson DeChambeau. We'll get into that in just a little bit. And then Sergio Garcia has now dropped 2 shots on the day. First-round leader down to 5 under par, but still right there for the Spaniard who has won the Players' Championship in the past. That's your Players' Championship update live from TPC Sawgrass. Our Players' Championship coverage all week here on ESPN 690, sponsored by Talon Wealth Management. You see Cam Newton goes to the New England Patriots again. He's signed back with the New England Patriots. Just a quick thought here on Cam. That cannot be the Patriots' only quarterback plans. What this looks like to me is the Patriots are going to go after a young QB. They've got 5 or 6 of them, depending on what their board looks like. They're picking in the middle rounds. They could potentially even trade up and go get somebody else. But this looks like a bridge situation from Cam Newton to the next guy that they're going to draft instead of trading for one of these others or how the quarterback carousel has worked to this point in the NFL. I would say this is writing on the wall that the New England Patriots are going to get their next franchise quarterback probably early and maybe in that first round. Is it a Mac Jones? Is it Trey Lance, go up and get him? Is it Kyle Trask? Who knows? But I think this is a clear indication that they're going young at quarterback. They're going to keep Cam around. They got plenty of money to spend so they can put Cam in a better situation than he was last year on the offensive end, go get him some weapons, and hope that he plays better. But Cam Newton, if you look at all the numbers, was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL last year, and it just didn't work. And you have to wonder about the future of Cam Newton and how much he can do it at a high level. I think this speaks to bridge quarterback. We'll see if Cam's got anything left, but we're going to get our next guy, and he might be a young guy that will be willing to sit down for a year and see if that is beneficial in the long term for the New England Patriots. That's the way this reads to me. on the Cam Newton front, going back to the New England Patriots for a second consecutive year. We're going to take a break. We'll come back out to the Players' Championship here at TPC Sawgrass, live on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Don't forget, you only have a few more days to get that 25% discount on the Dream 18 card. Discounted golf, help local courses, local businesses, local charities as well. Go to ESPN690.com to get your Dream 18 card at a special 25% off this week only. That will end on Sunday. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair, all one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffin Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we have everything you need to take on that oil change. It's easier than you think. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic high-mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. 2 more teams drop out of conference tournaments today after positive COVID-19 tests. Kansas in the Big 12 and Virginia in the ACC. Both teams were scheduled to play semifinal games tonight. Both are still hoping to play in the NCAA tournament. Could we see other teams opt out of conference tournaments this weekend? Carlos Boozer of the ACC Network.
It's possible. You know, there's a lot of teams that have a great schedule. They've got great quad 1 wins, quad 2 wins. They're going to be in the tournament. They're going to be playing in the deep March, and they know they're going to be in that bubble in Indianapolis. So it's very possible that they may do that.
Carlos Boozer on Key J and Z. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady will sign a 4-year contract extension. The deal is cap-friendly and is actually a 1-year extension through the 2022 season when Brady will be 45 years old. And ESPN has learned quarterback Cam Newton will re-sign with the Patriots. A 1-year deal could be worth $14 million with about $6 million in incentives.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Yeah, it's we're still not there yet, but we're very close. That will happen, or that should happen. And you know, I shared it with our owners that push everyone to their brink as far as effort and what we expect, but you give them the very best that you possibly can get your hands on. That means the best trainers. We redid our whole sports performance program. I want it to be the very best in the NFL. Ours was the best in college. I'm biased, but the way we did it, and we're going to do the same thing here. And I think our players deserve, I think this could be a destination place. I mean, look, are you kidding me? You got Jacksonville, you got, you know, the tax issue, which is important in the NFL, and you got a great community. You can raise a family here. So why would you not be here if you had the best facilities, best trainers, best coaches, and best nutrition, all the above?
That is Urban Meyer earlier today here at the Players' Championship. Pretty candid about that practice facility. Listen, it's happening. Practice facility is happening. Where will it happen? Could it go north? Could it come south to St. Johns County? Will it be right next to the stadium? Practice fields, I think all options are in play. And I don't know where they want to be. If you look at a lot of the other folks in the league, a lot of them say 20, 25 minutes away from downtown. Well, their downtowns are a little bit different than Jacksonville's downtown, at least as it sits right now. So a facility right downtown, I could see. I could see it in play for the Jags. I got to get a piece of land, and that's going to be fronted by Shad Khan. That's Shad Khan's money. That's not taxpayer money. So I wonder, as we welcome in Action Sports Jacks Marcel Robinson, Marcel, as we hear that soundbite from Urban, and I love talking about the facility stuff because it's happening, and it's a good thing because it's happening around the league. And he's bringing that element of the college game here from a recruiting, an appearance, an I want to be here type of thing. Mm-hmm. Players like that. I mean, whether you admit you're materialistic or not, everybody is to a degree. And so some are more than others, but players like good things. You know, they like 5-star hotels and they like private jets. And I think they like nice facilities. What's interesting to me from a bigger picture standpoint, if Shad Khan says, hey, I'm going to build this thing downtown and I'm going to put my own money in, it's going to cost me $100-something million, whatever it might be. I don't even know. But that's kind of the numbers floating around other facilities, like Miami's building 135, I think it is.
Yeah.
If you take all that in and consider building downtown, well, if Shad says, I'm spending my money down here, hey, taxpayers, hey, city, when are you going to spend some of your money down here?
Yeah.
It might be a nice message for Shad Khan to say it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Anyone who doesn't see that this serves a dual purpose in terms of that being the ultimate goal is just not looking at the bigger picture. I think you hit the nail on the coffin on both sense. One, in the sense of what Urban said. Look, it's like you said. It's just like the college game as sort of the gameplay from college has creeped into the NFL. Now sort of this arms race of facilities. Like you said, people like having nice things, and to attract players, it's got to be more than just what happens on the field. People want to see the nice and shiny things. People want to see that you're putting money into the organization as they put their blood, sweat, and tears out there on the field and everything. And the second part of your point in terms of trying to get, this is definitely sort of kind of a play to sort of, move more towards the development of downtown. Like you said, Shad putting his own money in, it's another opportunity for him to say, hey, look, I'm trying to put money in, like meet me halfway somewhere so we can, do something downtown.
I think, we'll answer that part of it. Okay, are you staying? Are you this? Are you that? Well, I've just spent $100 and something more million of my own money. What do you mean am I staying?
Right.
I think it could certainly go that way. Kevin asked the question on the feed, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I never know which one it comes from, but it can come from all of them. And you can also call us 904-362-9901. Open communication here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau with Marcel Robinson. Austin Lane, by the way, fight night tomorrow night in Orlando. But he asked the question about primetime games. We've had these discussions before. The schedule will come out. I think it's going to come out in early May. Usually comes out before the draft. But even with Urban Meyer talking today, there was some London chatter about, hey, when will you know? Will you know? And it was like early May. They'll know more about London, which then hints that the schedule's not going to come out. I think there have been reports the schedule's going to be delayed a little bit, probably to wait on the pandemic. How many primetime games do you think the Jaguars end up with? Keep in mind that getting one is not like this glorious thing because most everybody, if they want it, can get a Thursday night game. Jaguars have gone in the past without getting that, basically said, no, we don't care about it. But one is usually where the Jaguars land.
Right.
Will they get another? And coming off 2017, they did get another, but then it got flexed because they were so bad.
Right. I think one is probably the number just because of the Urban factor. I think there's still some scar tissue there from the national media because everyone was so on board with what happened after 2017 coming in, like you said, getting all those games flexed. And I think it kind of reverted back to the national media's sort of perception of, they're exactly who we thought they were. So rather than going full all in and saying, Urban's here, Trevor's here, let's throw a few of them at them. But I think that the number is definitely going to be one. I think there's a possibility that if they can, be who we hope them to be, they may be flexed into a primetime game, I think is probably the more reasonable expectation.
That's interesting. I think there will be at least two. I think some fans are being a little bit overzealous and saying three. I think that's a lot to ask. What I think if they got two, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if they got two on a Sunday and Monday, it would feel like three. The Thursday night game doesn't feel like you're getting a primetime game anymore. Yeah. It feels like you're just, getting something the league gives.
Right.
So the Sunday-Monday part of this is important for the Jags fan to be like, no, we want a prime game. Yeah, it's primetime Thursday night, okay, but you're probably going to put us against the Titans or something like that. We don't want that. And so I think that the Sunday-Monday thing's big. The Sunday would be really big because it's been forever for that to happen. So if you look at this schedule, though, here's why I think they get at least two. Because and this is where the NFL's in line a little bit and saying, well, we'll have that draft first, and then it might help us put together the schedule.
Yeah.
See, I think that's what makes a little bit of sense because how things shake out just when it comes to the Jags, not that they're only worried about the Jags. What if Justin Fields goes to the Jets, okay? Well, now you got Trevor Lawrence against Justin Fields when the Jets and the Jags play, which they do play. But what if Justin Fields goes to Houston in a trade for Deshaun Watson? Well, now you could put Houston and Jags on, even though they're not two great teams. But you got Lawrence versus Fields in the future of the league potentially in a primetime matchup. So I think there's a lot of different ways the Jaguars could get on primetime. I think waiting until after the draft, and I think the Jets are an important part of this, and that's a big market. So if you're selling it to NBC, ESPN, and we'll leave Fox out of it for now on the Thursday side, but that's intriguing. You got the Jets market, new coach. You got the Jags, new quarterback, new
Right.
coach.
New quarterback, new
you
coach.
could
yeah.
have Fields versus Lawrence or even Zach Wilson against Lawrence, but Fields versus Lawrence is big because they both come from the same area. They were both highly touted out of college.
Same
they
story.
just battled again in college. So to me, that's like a no-brainer game. It just depends where Fields lands to see if we get that game. But the Jets and the Jags somewhere in prime time would make a lot of sense. And then just add one more in the mix, whether it is a Thursday night game or whether it's, I mean, they do play at Seattle. They play at the Rams. You know, you're talking about big market teams, Denver and San Francisco in there. I mean, you could make the case for a bunch of different plausible scenarios to get on national TV. I don't think you're going to see Sunday and Monday and Thursday. I think you could see Sunday and Monday. It could be. I doubt it. I'm thinking more Sunday, Thursday kind of deal for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to stick with 2 at the moment and see. Now, remember, they go to 17 games, which is where it's leaning.
Right.
That gives the Jags another opportunity to get on where they couldn't have in the past.
Yeah. I just wonder if, I mean, with the Jets game, the Jags versus Jets, if Fields or even Zach Wilson goes, whoever goes to the Jets, I mean the storylines are there. Obviously, new regime on both sides, new signal callers and everything. I just wonder if what they may expect the gameplay, the product on the field to look like is still a draw. I mean, because I'll be honest with you, if I'm not in the Jacksonville market, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson / Justin Fields, but Jags versus Jets does absolutely nothing for me on the field.
Yeah,
it's one of those things like, am I even going to watch this game after halftime if I don't have a vested interest, outside of that particular market? Now, the Houston one probably does. I lean a little bit more towards that one being more probably the primetime game, just because of with it being it's still the AFC South matchup. You still have the storylines and everything, and it's probably likely you would hope to be somewhat of a competitive game. But just, I mean, I guess it just depends as far as like who and also what point in the season they plug these games into.
Yeah, how awesome would it be? I think a great story. Maybe someone's done the story before. I'd love to be a part of the TV executive room. That's like picking games. I want this one. I want that one. I want this one. Okay, you're second in line. Okay, they took this one, so I get that one. Yeah, that would be a heck of a lot of fun with the NFL. I want to be in that room for that. Hey, you've been all around the course today. You've been out there lugging the camera equipment and getting it done here at the Players' Championship. We got a loaded-up leaderboard. 8 under par, Lee Westwood in the lead.
It's great. I mean, Friday is, it's one of those days where as we're approaching the cut line, you see a lot of guys coming out there, and if they're, either at the top of the leaderboard or the cut line in general. It's a lot of movement out there. Every time I go to chase one leaderboard, I'm going to find somebody else who may else be contending, and it's cool. I mean, it's a nice little surprise. It's not the same old guys out here, and it's a very jumbled at the top. And I mean, like everyone says, anybody can take this thing.
Yeah, and I kind of predicted around 14 under, and I think we're trending that way on the weekend. I mean, may even get over that. The birdies are out there. If you have someone that really just gets hot, they could tear this place up. We're seeing 7 under through 12 holes right now by Sung Jae Im. He birdied 6 straight holes. Westwood's out there at 5 under. DeChambeau's been very consistent, 6 under. So just a beautiful week. A little bit different. Not as many people, but a little bit different of a buzz. No Tiger, of course.
Right. Yeah.
But still putting on quite a show here at the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. We have a special tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30, 11:15, Action Sports Jacks at the Players, so you can check that out, full recap, who made the cut, who didn't. And then tomorrow night and Sunday, Action Sports Jacks primetime, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. Tell everybody about your golf game here. What is this, about a year and a half ago now? This was before last year's Players, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First time you've ever played 18 holes.
Right. First
and you
time.
played it here.
Yes, that was the second time. Second time
We
played twice here. I played here twice.
You played here twice?
We played here twice.
Okay, well, what's the first time when we counted all your shots?
Oh, the first time was 2 years ago. So
that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's the one. I don't care about the second time.
Okay, yeah.
I'm worried about the first time only. And if you've never heard the story, this was the first 18 holes. And by the way, imagine your first 18 holes ever being here at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass.
That's right.
It was for Marcel Robinson. And what I can't remember is what we set the over-under at. Was it like 145?
I think you guys set the line was at 145, and I think I came in like 128 or 126 or something.
You obliterated it.
Yeah.
But the most impressive shot, see, what happened here was it was really like a shamble.
Right.
And what happens in a shamble format is you take everybody's best drive, and then you play your own ball.
Right.
Well, we made you play kind of on your own.
Right.
Because that was your first 18, and we were keeping score. We had a bet going on.
Right.
So on 17, we all hit it in the water.
Right.
I actually think I hit it left of the water. It didn't even get in the water. It was like way down the cart path or something. But anyway, we hit it way off. Well, Marcel doesn't hit it in the water, but he doesn't hit it on the green.
Nope.
He hits it down where, like, the pink flowers are on the left, right?
We're left.
So he's left of the water, kind of down the hill, but, like, pin high.
Right.
And so we all go to that shot. We have to take his shot. It's the best one we have. So we make Marcel play first because he's playing every shot out. And Marcel, this is a tricky shot. Like
Short
the
hop.
front part of the green where the pin is, over about, I don't know, some 25 feet of water.
Right.
And you have to stop it on the green. I'm like, we're going to be here all day for Marcel. I'm going to tell Marcel to go up to the top part of the green and then just putt. He hit that shot, like I'm telling you, this was like a 1 in 50 shot for someone who hasn't played. And you nailed it. Like, you didn't make the putt, but you made a nice bogey, and it was fine. You ran out of there with a bogey.
I'm out of there.
And by the way, that helped our team that day in the shamble.
Still dry on 17.
Still dry on
Both
17.
rounds.
That's impressive.
That's something I can say that no professional golfer in this field, including Tiger, can say is I've never hit in the water on 17.
That's a good point. You can say that.
And I may never play again to keep that.
By the way, 128 is pretty good, man. 128 around this course for your first 18 holes ever.
I'll take it.
That's some playing. You practiced a little though going into it.
I did. I mean, I can't come in here just embarrass myself. I'm an athlete. I don't like to lose. So even if I'm not good.
No. All right. We'll get back out there and get TPC Sawgrass covered up. Stuart Weber, Marcel Robinson. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. That's Action Sports Jack's Marcel Robinson here on ESPN 690. Helping out on TV tonight as well, CBS 47, Fox 30. Where did Martin Buckley go? He was right there a minute ago. He was going to stop by, and now he's gone. Where's Buckley? I can't find him. He's probably, like, signing autographs somewhere. America's guest is what I call Martin Buckley. So if you see him, tell him to jump on. If not, that is fine. Hey, let's give you an update on the scores. Lee Westwood, 8 under. Chris Kirk, Sungjae Im. Sergio Garcia has made 2 birdies to get back to 7 under. That's where he started the day. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 7 under. So we've got 4 tied at 7 under, 1 shot behind Lee Westwood. Westwood has 3 holes to play on the day. So we've got a crowded leaderboard here on a Friday at the Players' Championship. And isn't it nice to make it to a Friday at the Players' Championship after last year? You bet it is. Tennessee is beating Florida in the SEC quarterfinals, 57-43. They just beat Florida a week ago, and now they're getting them again, 57-43. The Gators, Gator fan, you should be nervous going into the NCAA tournament. You're going to make it, but you're not very good. So that's just reality. And the Florida Gators look like they're going to lose unless they make a furious comeback, 57-43 with 8 minutes to go. So the Vols are beating them for the second time in a handful of days. All right, let's welcome in Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs right now.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man? You got
Good.
a banana? You
Yeah.
ready to go? Did I just see the banana beverage double?
That's for you.
Oh, that's for me.
That's for you. I told you I was bringing you a beverage, of course.
Diet Coke. Thank you
Diet
very
Coke,
much.
yeah. Coke Zero.
I had Diet Coke banana mix earlier in the day.
How'd that settle?
That's so far fine.
Good luck.
I drink way too much Diet Coke out here at the Players' Championship.
Is that your beverage?
Yeah, but I haven't been drinking a lot of soda. But out here, I feel like if I'm going to go buy something,
yes,
I still have a hard time spending like $4 on a water.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend $4 on a Diet
beverage.
Coke. Yeah.
But at home, no Coke?
Nah.
Yeah, just when you're out.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good. How is it out here? A little bit different, huh?
It's a little bit different, but I'll tell you what, man, we're out here. That's what I keep thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you were out here last year around this time.
Yeah, we were.
It was a way different feeling.
It's unbelievable.
The dinner after was a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And but it's cool to see people out here, and I think it's just great to see, Feels like we're moving forward. There's
we
a
got
little
an
light.
unbelievable day. Family good? How's that little guy doing?
Everyone's great, man. Walker.
You playing golf yet?
Me?
No, him.
Him? No. He started dancing, though. He's 10 months old and
go.
walking.
He's walking at 10 months?
Yeah, he took about 10 or 12 steps the other day.
How
So
about
he's
that?
crawling a lot, but he'll pull himself up. And
I guess if your name's Walker, you better get on
he's
it
living
early.
up. Dunker, I should have called him.
we get Martin Buckley on from time to time, Palm Beach Autographs, talk about kind of the value of some of the players. And we had you on about a month ago, I think, about Trevor Lawrence. Has he signed that deal yet?
Yeah, he actually signed with Fanatics.
He did.
Fanatics came in, got him. There was a couple of companies that were vying for him, and Fanatics landed him. I think they kind of saw him as the prize target, so they came in over the top with the other company that was competing for him. They ended up with the other two quarterbacks, so they'll
Zach
do
Wilson
okay.
And Fields.
Mm-hmm. But I think Fanatics just
for
saw
the price of one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Trevor has that kind of appeal like very few have had at the number one position, so I think they needed it.
You know, when we had this conversation before, we see it from all angles, right? All the football guys are saying, hey, it's can't-miss guy. Everybody's raving about him. You go to his hometown like we did, and everybody says, unbelievable person.
That was
what
awesome.
a guy. Well, but then you see it from a business side. And business people don't really care if you're a good guy or if you're a good football player. They want to make money.
That's exactly right.
And so when you see it from that standpoint, that the investment in him, we just saw Topps. Did you see that yesterday? They're coming out with this whole card set of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that wild?
Leaf
his
had one come out.
His brother actually is going to do a lot of the artwork.
Who is?
He's an artist. Trevor Lawrence's brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should check it out. It's kind of a cool story. I just saw like the tweet about it. But people are going to invest in Trevor Lawrence is the point because they believe that good guy, great football player, and it's going to be big time.
Yeah, this is that. It feels like Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it feels like that type of quarterbacks coming into the league.
No doubt.
From that standpoint, the business side.
Hey, how about golf-wise? Is Bryson DeChambeau big in your world?
Yeah, he's been getting we get a lot of questions for him. He's been the young gun that Koepka we sell a little bit, but Bryson for sure.
Urban Meyer, you've worked with him in the past, from Tim's event.
Yep.
He's going to be here in a couple weeks, by the way, playing Tim's event.
Yep. He's here now.
He's here right now. I know. We talked to him earlier today. What do you think so far the first few weeks of the Urban regime?
I think it's exciting from the players that I've talked to that we work with. They said it's a complete overhaul and it feels totally different. They're loving it. Guys are fired up. He's a culture changer, man. Yeah. He's going to change the culture there. This team's good, and they're going to be real good.
No doubt about it.
I think.
Mark, well, in time. I mean, I don't – listen, I'm not even I'm very bullish on where this is going, but I'm not over the top about 2021. Not yet.
That's
we'll
probably
have to see where free agency goes. We'll see where the draft goes.
That's the right approach.
I mean, let's see him on the field before – even I'm not crazy enough to get crazy about him before I see him on the field.
Absolutely.
But you just get a feel it's going in a different direction.
Absolutely, 100% agree. That's the right way to approach it. But, sometimes teams like that, when they're young and they're good, things like that happen.
That's
and
true.
Then they get that experience. So they get that at play. The division's not great.
Yeah, true.
If they could.
It can be had.
It can be had. I'm just saying, from that perspective, I'm not even trying to put the cart before the horse. I'm just saying, if they get that kind of exposure year one, imagine where that puts them. You see it in baseball a lot where, a team like maybe the Braves or somebody sneaks into the playoffs, and then that next year they're able to make that leap forward.
Hey, Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs, thanks for helping out with the Dream 18 card. By the way, go purchase the Dream 18 card on ESPN690.com. 25% off this week. You also get 15% off at Palm Beach Autographs on a purchase. So we appreciate you helping out.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
All right, enjoy the weekend. Players Championship 2021. We're going to crown a champ.
Let's do it, baby. Let's golf soon.
Hey, by the way, we are also going out to do a live remote and signing at Palm Beach Autographs soon enough.
Yep. Whenever you want. We'll make it happen.
One line for Austin Lane, one line for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, we should do that.
And I'm going to pay everybody I know to come out to my line.
I want to do it for charity.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Let's do it.
We'll do it for blessings in a backpack.
I like it. I like it a lot. Martin Buckley stopping on by.
I'm buying Brent's ticket.
Players Championship. Our live coverage brought to you by Talon Wealth Management. Thanks for them sponsoring the week as we are live at TPC Sawgrass. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and pretty warm today. Temperatures will reach the upper 70s inland, about 70 to 75 at the beaches, and then drop into the low to mid-50s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks of Rust Training Helpline. Today we're explaining the term verified alarm to all you newbies out there.
Oh, boss, I can explain that. A verified alarm just means that whatever caused the security system alarm to go off has been verified.
Correct. And what alarm company is known for providing the fastest verified alarms?
SafeTouch Security.
Exactly. Because SafeTouch has the two-way communicator, which leads to alarm verification within seconds.
And alarm verification is very bad for us crooks.
Yeah, unlike a non-verified alarm that police label a low priority.
Like right below getting Grandma's cat out of a tree low.
So, to sum up, verified alarms. Just one more reason we crooks have the golden rule, stay away from SafeTouch houses. Remember that, and you'll be fine.
Here, kitty, kitty.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, the word is out. If you want clean water right out of the tap, then CGC Water needs to be your first call. We did it at our home. You can do it at your home. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. And right now, CGC is offering $1,000 off a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember, this is a limited time offer. $1,000 off a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. Clean water is the only water for you and your family.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces, this crave-controlling meal smoothie has non-GMO whole fruits, naturally derived caffeine, and absolutely no syrups. Or try strawberry pineapple or mango ginger. Start your healthier habit and order online at smoothieking.com. Now for pickup or delivery at any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King, rule the day.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop. You already save hundreds of dollars on golfing some of the region's best courses with the Dream 18 golf cart. This week, you can save even more. We are celebrating Players Championship Week with 25% off. Go get it on ESPN690.com. For a limited time, save even more on discounted golf at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Osprey Cove, Hidden Hills, Queens Harbor, Amelia River, Eagle Landing, and Fleming Island. This isn't just a golf cart. Get free things from Baker Sports, Dome Hats, and Smoothie King. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase 25% off this week only on the Dream 18 card.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Action Sports Jacks will be live from the Players Championship Wednesday through Friday. Listen for exclusive interviews and updates from the course. Hear Action Sports Jacks from 3 until 6 p.m. from the Players Championship, sponsored by Talon Wealth Management on ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Brent Martineau.
Daniel says we went from hot Cheetos to shampoo, raising the intellectual portion of the show.
Austin Lane.
I'm wearing a sleeveless t-shirt. What more do you want from us, man?
It's Friday.
We never said we're intellectual.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I know we play, I think, one in London. That's what I kind of been told. I've not done a lot of research on it. I was part of a game when I was at Notre Dame. We played at Ireland, and their trip's not bad. Their trip home's tough. So I'd give you more. I just have not had time to research it. This year, I don't know because of COVID. I don't know.
Urban Meyer talking about a potential London game. And it certainly sounds like that's in the works to continue to happen. Remember, now we're looking at a 17-game regular season, most likely by the NFL. I can't imagine the Jaguars go to London in 2021. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense with COVID and where we're at. But I do also think that Urban Meyer acknowledged that, hey, look, down the road, we're playing in London a game. And the fascinating part about that when it comes to Urban is I wondered what kind of conversations were like with Shad Khan. They've built a base there. So from Shad Khan's perspective, they've laid some groundwork that they want to see through. The dollars are there. It's part of the pie that the Jaguars have in terms of their revenue. Whether you like it or not, it is. I mean, that's just the way again, I'm not telling you to come on board with it. I'm just stating facts right now. They've built a foundation. They've played over there for however many years in a row now. It's part of their economic pie. And so when you marry that and then the hiatus from last year, and by the way, if we go all the way back to last year, there was going to be 2 home games in London. So if you take 2020 out of the equation, the contract expires with London and the Jaguars in the NFL. What do they do going forward? And I thought, well, maybe there's a pivot here because Urban Meyer might be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that on an annual basis. Like, that would be an interesting conversation. And what if he said that? Like, what does Shad Khan say? I mean, well, we are. I guess he's the owner. Or, okay, this isn't going to work. Like, I don't know how that would get. I don't know how that would go. So, obviously, though, from what Urban Meyer is saying, they didn't have a lot of those kind of discussions. And I think that's maybe because of the pandemic and maybe like, hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I thought there would be maybe a little bit more conversation. Maybe there hasn't. He's just not revealing everything in that soundbite right there. And I think he also mentioned London talking to Jaguars.com last week. But the bottom line here is London is happening for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think Urban Meyer is going to stop it. I also think this could be good news for Jaguars fans who were very mad, and I think there were a lot of them were mad, about 2 home games in London. I don't think that's going to happen based off what Urban Meyer has now said a couple of times in the last week. Now, again, we're just reading into this a little bit. There's not a lot of info out there. The Jags PR, who was here with Urban, said we'll know more about London in early May from the NFL. So that's a little bit of a timetable. Of course, that will come around the schedule time too. But just to repeat and kind of recap, London's still happening for the Jags. It's trending toward it's probably happening once a year instead of twice for these home games. What will be interesting if there's any kind of flip-flopping around in terms of home or away with the Jags involved because of a potential 17th game in the regular season that also could happen and start in 2021. Will they play in London in 2021 because of the pandemic, and where is it, and can you even predict where it's going to be? Why schedule it if you don't know if the whole world is opened up by that time, which I think is very questionable if that's going to be the case. So that's kind of where we're at. But I think there's a little bit of positive news here if you're a fan and you don't like the London stuff. There's no surprise that they're going to stay over there. The money's too big. The footprint has been established. That shouldn't surprise you. The 2 games that really ticked a lot of people off, that doesn't sound like, from what Urban Meyer's saying, part of the equation. And so maybe now, with all the buzz about Trevor, the buzz about Urban Meyer, that's partially the reason they don't need 2 games over in London. But maybe they kind of got a redo on the backlash that the fans gave after they announced the 2 home games in London. So there's a lot going on here. A lot of it we don't know fully what it means and what it is and why it came to this point. But and we still don't know the specifics. But I think the London conversation is really interesting to most notably say, hey, it's not going to end. Urban Meyer's going to have to find a way to make that work. And at least from a fan perspective, there's not going to be 2 home games over there, in my opinion. It doesn't look like we're trending that way. Keep in mind, this is what, in my head, I've got half of it saying, okay, London makes sense, right? It's a piece of the pie. They put the footprint down over there. Shad Khan sees this as part of the vision. And that's just been the case now for almost going on a decade. And then I see Urban Meyer on the other side saying, hey, we want to do whatever's best for the player, best for the player, best for the player. Well, it's really hard to stake claim to traveling over to London is best for the player. It's a really hard fight. And so how they navigate that, how they make it better for the player, even if it's not the best for the player, can they do something about that? I don't know. This will be really interesting to watch how Urban Meyer gets creative when it comes to London. I'm interested in it. The Jaguars have basically learned over the years that Thursday, leaving on a Thursday night, landing in London on Friday morning, their time, kind of sleeping overnight and just going on with your business, playing the game, and then getting back home is the way to go. They found that to be a success. Will that change at all for Urban Meyer? Will the way they have their bye week change depending on where the NFL puts that London game? Remember, I think it was Indianapolis, like third week of the season. I want to say it was almost late September, early October a few years back, where they said, we don't want the bye, and we'll put the bye later on in the year. So how that is all navigated with Urban Meyer as the head coach, I think it's going to be an interesting watch. And I'm not saying it's a tug of war. I don't even think there's going to be a contentious thing here. I just think if you ask every coach, do you want to go fly 8 hours across the pond and then eventually come back another 8 hours or 9 hours, whatever it is, every coach is going to say, no, I don't think that's really in the greatest interest of my team. All right? That's just reality. I don't want to do that. Heck, the West Coast trip is far enough. But he is very appreciative and very respectful and all in with owner Shad Khan. And he's a big believer in Shad Khan. And if that's Shad's vision to continue that footprint, that game, part of the economic pie, then I think it's going to stay that way. And Urban Meyer will do the best to handle that situation and work with it. I hate to talk even this much at length because I don't have a lot of the answers. But I think based on what he said, we can surmise a couple of the things that I've already mentioned. And now I'm interested to see where this shakes out. We might have to wait another 6 weeks or so. Looks like early May, mid-May, when the schedule comes out, when the NFL's ready to say anything about London. And we might not even learn a whole bunch then. Because, again, I think this could fall into the part of we're not going to know this year because we're not going over there in 2021, the NFL says. It just doesn't make sense to do it. Could we go to Toronto? Could we go to Mexico City? Well, maybe we could do that, but going over to London probably doesn't make sense coming off the pandemic, even if we're almost off it, or we could still be in the middle of it. I would not be stunned if the league just said, hey, no London this year. We'll get back to it in 2022. So some of these details, some of the things I'm talking about right now, we may not really even learn about that completely until sometime next year, when the 2022 schedule comes out. But it'll be an interesting thing to watch from Urban Meyer's perspective, from the Jags' perspective, and from the fans' perspective. I know this is a topic that draws some angst. I get it. And I'm just trying to be real with you and say it's not going anywhere. But the good news is that 2 games never happened over in London. It's probably going to be 1. And the extra bit of good news is we're probably going to get a 17-game regular season with an extra home game thrown in there, home game I say in quotes, thrown in there every other year for each NFL team. So in this time frame where things have never been more exciting in an offseason, where you could have your franchise quarterback and the franchise turns itself around and the place is going bonkers in Jacksonville, you don't want to give up those home games. This is a great time to buy a ticket in Jacksonville and not go see a game in London. I get it. But overall, I think it's going to happen to some degree, and maybe thankfully for the fans, not as much as it was looking like it was going to happen in 2020, and we don't know how long that 2-game thing might have happened. If we never get into a pandemic and the Jags are playing 2 games last year, 2 home games in London, are they playing again 2 home games in 21, 22? Again, that was the end of the deal. So we don't know how that would have shaken out, and fortunately, we don't have to worry about it. I think from a fan perspective, the fans don't have to worry about it. We never got the 2 games in London. Those games obviously were moved back here to Jacksonville because of the pandemic. But we will get London games again. I guess that's the moral of the story. And I'm intrigued at how Urban Meyer sees it, handles it, navigates it, and if there's anything different. There's only so much you can do with that road trip. Teams have tried a whole bunch of different things. The Jaguars have been almost the guinea pig in that, and other teams have followed the Jags and seen what they've done. But I don't know if you can recreate it many other ways and even overthink it. I just think you got to put the players in the best position possible, and that's a trip you just have to suck up a little bit, like you're going a couple extra trips to the West Coast. Seattle, I think it was maybe last year or 2 years ago, didn't they make like 3 or 4 trips to the East Coast? And like 3 of them were like back-to-back weeks. It was not a favorable schedule. Now, they weren't going to London, but you go Seattle to Miami, Seattle to New York, Seattle to Carolina. That's a pretty hefty trip, back-to-back weeks or back-to-back weeks. So it's not like the Jags are the only team that has to navigate sometimes the road travel of the NFL. London's certainly a different animal. And this conversation is less to do about the Jags players and probably more about the fans. And what do we see in the future with the Jaguars in that relationship with London? I think it does exist, and be ready for it to exist. Brown on Twitter says, has Urban confirmed a new facility and what type and or a timeline? I think, Brown, the simple way to say this is yes, it's been confirmed that it's in the works. Where is it? We don't know. Timeline, ASAP. That's what I get out of what Urban Meyer has said over now a couple of months when it comes to the facility. And we've seen this multiple occasions, multiple reports, multiple sound bites from Urban Meyer. So the facility's happening. How quick can they make it happen? Where exactly do they make it happen? How much does it cost? Those are all things that are in the works and trying to be sped up from what I understand. So, to answer your question, a new facility is happening. What type of facility? I can just go off what we've seen in other places in the NFL, and you're talking about a standalone facility kind of away from the stadium. And that's where your operations go. And a lot of these times, now, if it's away from downtown, then they would build practice fields too. If it's right near downtown, well, it could back up to the practice fields in some way, shape, or form, and then your practice fields are right there. But either way, this is going to be a place where the staff and the players essentially call home and practice right there. And whether their stadium's 100 yards away or 20 miles away, that is to be determined. But you're looking at probably a facility, if I'm thinking the way Shad Khan does things, you're talking about a facility probably somewhere between, $100 million, $150 million that he's going to have to front the money for. Like, that's not going to be a public-private partnership thing. That's going to be an investment in the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, yeah, Brown, to answer your question, it's happening. We just don't know a lot of the details of when, how much, where. But I think this thing's going to move fast. And we've been talking about facilities even before Urban got hired on this show. If you go all the way back to December, we talked about facilities, and that could be the next play in Jacksonville. What I don't know fully is, hey, if Lot J had gotten done, would that have helped the facility get done quicker? Lot J not getting done, does that help the facility get done quicker? I'm not sure about that, but I bet we get some details sooner than later, and I think shovel in the ground sooner than later, wherever it is that the Jaguars are going to build a facility. Keep in mind, this clubhouse at TPC Sawgrass, I think they built this in like less than a year. Spent like $40 million, however many years ago now, and I believe it was built in less than a year or right around a year. I mean, money talks. If you want to build something quick, you can build it quick. Just depends how big it is and how much you want to spend, but a facility is coming to Jacksonville. No doubt about it. It's definitely what Urban Meyer has been saying, and Shad Khan seemingly backing it up. We talk more about the Players' Championship, give you an update on the leaderboard when we come back. Also, how the Gators do in the SEC tournament, the ACC tournament coming up tonight. Big one for Florida State in terms of seeding, and you can listen to that one on ESPN 690. All on the way on ESPN 690 when we come back live from the Players.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Friday. I'm Jake Mitchell. In spite of the fact that a weak offensive line was the reason the Kansas City Chiefs struggled so hard in the last Super Bowl, they have still cut both of their starting tackles, both of which missed the big game because of injuries. The move clears about $18 million in cap space. Here's Diana Rossini, ESPN NFL reporter, with her take on the situation.
We talked last week all about this week being a really difficult week. We called it a massacre. At least one coach told me that. And that's what it is. Look at what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. An offensive line that we knew was struggling in the Super Bowl because they didn't have those two guys, no longer on the team now.
In college hoops, the Duke Blue Devils have pulled out of the ACC tourney and subsequently canceled the rest of their season due to a positive COVID test and contact tracing. The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Land of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed.
What's like the concept?
It's like mini games that you kind of compete battle royale style, but it's mini games and you just try to, be the last one standing essentially.
Let me try this again. So what is the concept?
It'll be
English. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
Hey, the word is out. If you want clean water right out of the tap, then CGC Water needs to be your first call. We did it at our home. You can do it at your home. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. And right now, CGC is offering $1,000 off a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember, this is a limited time offer. $1,000 off a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. Clean water is the only water for you and your family. You already save hundreds of dollars on golfing some of the region's best courses with the Dream 18 golf cart. This week, you can save even more. We are celebrating Players' Championship Week with 25% off. Go get it on ESPN690.com. For a limited time, save even more on discounted golf at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Osprey Cove, Hidden Hills, Queens Harbor, Amelia River, Eagle Landing, and Fleming Island. This isn't just a golf cart. Get free things from Baker Sports, Dome Hats, and Smoothie King. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase 25% off this week only on the Dream 18 card.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business and powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more. All with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, appreciate it. But your boss says you're working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
The frustration, definitely. I mean, don't expect to do that the first hole out. Especially I was hit it pretty good this morning. And then you go out there and you hit one, you squeeze one right, and it goes pretty far right. And you don't hit your second shot where you need it to be and mess up. And so you just aren't feeling comfortable. I wasn't feeling as comfortable as I should have been feeling, and unfortunately, that's the way my day started. So I was able to make a nice up and down on the next hole to kind of settle it down, and up and down on 12, which is great. Hit a close one in there, 13, and kind of was off to the races after that, except 14, driving 14. So a couple crucial up and downs, and I just felt like I just wasn't hitting it my best today.
Bryson DeChambeau didn't hit it his best. Still shot a 3 under 69. Back-to-back 69s got him 6 under and 2 off the lead. Held by Lee Westwood, who has played 17 holes. He's 5 under today, 8 under par. Matthew Fitzpatrick has tied him at 8 under. Fitzpatrick 4 under through 12 so far in his round this afternoon. Remember, last night they called it off because of darkness around 6:32. We'll see if all these players can get through this Friday afternoon round. Chris Kirk, only player now at 7 under. There was 4 of them at one time. Now the only one. He's in the clubhouse at 7 under. Danny McCarthy, Brian Harmon, Bryson DeChambeau, Charlie Hoffman, all at 600. There's a couple others as well, including Sergio Garcia, who has dropped the shot in the second round through 14. He is 2 shots back right in the middle of this thing. John Rahm back there at 4 under par. Jason Day at 3 under par. Tyler McCumber have a second round. He's 3 under par here at the Players Championship. For the hometown guys, Dad won the Players back in 1988. Mark McCumber got it down for the hometown win. Wow, what a story it would be if Tyler McCumber can climb the leaderboard and be in contention on Saturday and Sunday. He's 3 under with 1 more to play in his second round. So some of the scores from the Players Championship, that's what it is right now. Hey, big news, Coos. Did you see this? Big news.
No.
This is going to slide right into what you usually talk about. And the big news here is Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez have called off their 2-year engagement. They are separated, Coos.
That's push-worthy right there, actually. That might be I might be getting a call that I have to leave this room in about 5 minutes.
Do you have to go? Am I breaking pop culture news here on ESPN 690?
Yeah, well, who was reporting it first, I guess, should be the question.
I saw an email go through the newsroom. I think it was page 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
right? Is that where all that stuff happens?
TMZ is usually a little more reliable, but...
Did you really just say that?
Well,
what a world we live in.
In terms of celebrity stuff, a lot of people will go, oh, TMZ reported it. We're good,
Seriously, how big of a story will this be?
No, that'll be big. I wonder, Yeah, no, it'll be big. I'm trying to see the angles that they'll take on it, but it'll definitely be big, and everyone will be talking about how they're kind of surprised because, I mean, they were engaged for 2 years. I guess it's good they didn't take it any further than that if it was going to end.
I thought they were already, married. They'd been together for so long.
Yeah, same.
So, yeah, that's Jennifer Lopez, Alex Rodriguez, call off 2-year engagement. Page 6 says that. There you go. Brent Martineau here, everybody, at the Players' Championship, breaking some entertainment news for you. That's what I do on a Friday at TPC Sawgrass. Our Players' Championship coverage, live coverage, all week sponsored by Talon Wealth Management. We've got an hour to go here on a Friday. And when we come back, we talk a bit more football. We have Audio Roulette, which I really liked playing yesterday. Let's do it again. And an interview with a gentleman that knew Urban Meyer when it all began. Not his high school buddies either. This guy is a former quarterback at Ohio State. We talked to him in the 5 o'clock hour, give you an update on the Players' Championship. And I'd love for you to jump in on any of the feeds or give us a call, 904-362-9901. Are you rooting for Bryson DeChambeau to win this thing? Where does he sit in your fandom? Bryson DeChambeau, 2 shots off the lead, held by Lee Westwood and Matthew Fitzpatrick here at the 2021 Players' Championship. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Ready, set, go to Arlington Toyota today. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event starting now, which means it's your time to save on over 400 new Toyotas on the lot at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 RAV4 LE or a new 2021 Tacoma SR Double Cab. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $299 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/March for full details.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. Happy March and almost happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate at Culhane's Irish Pub. A special menu for the day and catering available too. Culhane's Irish Pub has 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day at culhanesirishpub.com. But don't wait until March 17th. Go today for lunch or for dinner. Eat in, order out, happy hour, or even try the luncheon, brunch, and boozing specials. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and on the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at hondaoftheavenues.com.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car, like 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $26.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve performance with a synthetic oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Kansas is out of the Big 12 tournament after a positive test for COVID-19. Virginia is out of the ACC tournament for the same reason. Both teams are still hoping to play in the NCAA tournament. Conference action today in the Big Ten quarterfinals. Ohio State goes overtime to beat Purdue 87-78. The Buckeyes will meet Michigan next. The Wolverines beat Maryland 79-66. SEC quarterfinals today. Alabama knocks off Mississippi State 85-48. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady will sign a contract extension through the 2022 season. ESPN's Tim Hasselbeck says Brady has signed team-friendly contracts before.
The difference was, I don't know that he felt like New England was giving him a good supporting cast, where this feels like this gets done because he's trusting Tampa that they are going to get it done, where they surround him with a supporting cast that can help him win a championship.
Tim Hasselbeck on Greeny. The Buccaneers will also re-sign linebacker Kevin Minter.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Am I supposed to talk now, Coos?
Yeah.
I always there's this hesitation because all right, is Coos going to play a soundbite here or not? But we do have audio roulette coming up. So I just wasn't sure. I love taking people behind the scenes sometimes. And I was thinking about it, the last segment, not this past segment, the one prior we were talking about London. And I was trying to write something, tweet. And just say, hey, what do you think about London? That's what we try to do during the segments and what we're going to talk about. Sometimes I tweet something and we never talk about it because we get on something else. It does happen. But try to share it, get you engaged in the conversation if you are watching on the video feeds, especially Twitter. It's easier to do it on Twitter than it is on Facebook and even YouTube. But we appreciate you listening and watching on all the different platforms. And so I was just thinking, it's just I hesitate to talk while I'm tweeting because I'm trying to say something and I'm trying to write something and they're two different things. You know what I mean? So I've got two different thoughts. I need the left side of my brain to talk and the right side to type and or text or whatever. And I just can't seem to do it. It's almost reminds me of Were you one of those guys that could like pat the top of your head and rub your belly?
No, I was not. I can't even like think about anything other than what I'm saying if I'm trying to say something, and it'll get all kinds of messed up.
Yeah, I know it. It's just it's funny. So apologies if you hear a little like me. Why can't you spit the sentence out? It's probably because, well, one, I just either can't spit the sentence out, or two, I'm teasing our next segment. That's what, and it's even harder. I will say that it's the most challenging part of doing the show on your own, because I can toss it over to Austin. I'm really taking the inside baseball here, folks. But I can toss it over to Austin, and while he's talking a little bit, I can kind of finish my thought and share the message via Twitter, Coos. So what we're getting at here is you do a great job producing. We got you running all around. The station's got you all over the place. You're on like 15 different stations. But we need one more person to be like the right side of my brain so we can share these things out on our social media platforms.
We can hire an intern and just have them be our tweeter.
Well, listen, I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that if we could find that person. It's tough in a COVID world to do that, but anyway, we're getting along just fine. Hope you're doing well here on a Friday. TPC Sawgrass Players Championship. A couple guys tied for the lead at 8 under par. Lee Westwood, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and plenty behind. So there's a lot going on here at the Players. It's going to be a heck of a weekend. Who makes the cut? Who doesn't? Make sure you check out the TV side of things coming up tonight on CBS 47 and Fox 30, 11:15. We'll do a 15-minute show. We got half hour's worth of shows every Saturday and Sunday all year long, and that includes this weekend coming up with the Players. So we will be here and have it covered for you on the TV side. We've been talking a little bit of golf. We'll talk a little bit more. I want to ask you about Bryson DeChambeau. You're rooting for him going into the weekend. He's 2 shots off the lead. But we also talk a heck of a lot about football around here. If you're just catching up, if you're just leaving work, if you're just jumping in your car, Urban Meyer out at the Players today. We've talked a lot about Urban and what he had to say. And while it wasn't anything earth-shattering, it was still very transparent, forthcoming, and a little bit of insight into the next week or so when free agency hits for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is on the horizon. It is almost here. It's going to be a big week for Urban Meyer and this franchise on the way. But he did stop out, did some media. We got a chance to meet him. The local media did, at least for a quick couple of minutes. And Urban Meyer is, time to put the head down and get ready for free agency. It's going to be a wild 24, 48, 72 hours for the Jags with a lot of money to spend. And those early days of free agency can be a flurry. To recap, probably the most poignant thing he said, 2 things. We can't screw this up, meaning the opportunity they have with all the money, the draft picks, everything else. And he also said he is very uncomfortable with the idea that he can't really meet these guys, know these guys before they sign and spend a whole lot of money on them. He's uncomfortable with that. That's new to him, and he's going to have to adapt, and it's just the way it is, especially in the early stages of free agency and in a COVID world where you can't have people in for visits too. But free agency always is like that in the first 24, 48 hours. The blockbuster guys, you don't get to know them too well. They're good players, and you're about to spend money, but that's about it. And so that's just the nature of it is with free agency in the NFL. Kuz, you asked the question earlier in the show about is this like the event that you look forward to the most? You also mentioned an event in St. Augustine that you look forward to the most. Are there a lot of events that people kind of look forward to? Like Austin brings up World of Nations a lot, like he's been there. We're not talking about like concerts, okay? If somebody special is coming to a concert, we're talking about like annual events in the Jacksonville area. Like you know what comes to mind? What is it? Shrimp Fest? Is that what they call it up in Amelia?
What is that, Amelia? Yeah. Shrimp
Amelia,
Fest.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that comes to mind. I've never been, but I always say I want to go.
What's the one that's right by Lemon Bar around Thanksgiving? Don't they shut down the whole street and do a whole thing there?
Yeah, I think Austin's been there quite a bit, right?
I forget the name of it.
He says that it's at like right near Lynch's and
Pete's. Yeah, it's like
Pete's,
right there. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. Is there an actual name to that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a name to it because they shut down they'd shut down that whole area and everyone's just out in the street partying essentially. And it's on Thanksgiving. I just don't know the name. I can't remember.
Yeah, I got you. So I thought it was a good question. Listen, the obvious ones for us, like I really enjoy this week, okay? I like golf, but it's not even – I'm not as big a golf nerd as I think a lot of people think I am. I really do enjoy golf. But I like it just because the area comes to life. And for me, there's 2 occasions that Jacksonville seems to come alive that you can feel it. Doesn't matter where you are in the city or in surrounding parts, but you know what's happening. and the players is one, and you get to boast about this area in a very positive way for people all across the world. Like, I don't think people understand and grasp how many people around the world are watching this event, not just in the States, not just in Jacksonville, not just in Florida. This is not just a golf thing. People around the world are watching this event, and it showcases, Jacksonville area, Ponte Vedra, this golf course, and everything else, and it always looks so beautiful. So it's a great image for Jacksonville. The other time is Florida, Georgia, or Georgia, Florida week. That's another time when around the country, people know that game. They know the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, and the city comes to life. Everybody knows what's going on. So I like those two parts because of that. Like, I'm not sure there's an event outside of these two sporting events that gains that much attention, right? That everybody kind of works their calendar year around, and they know, okay, we can't do too much that week because the traffic's going to be heavy in Ponte Vedra or on US 1, or we've got to move high school football games around because of Florida Georgia week. There's not enough security to go around. Kuz, I don't know if there's even an event that does that. We have some great events. I mean, the Gate River Run, you just mentioned other events outside of sports, but these two events are so premier because of the, widespread reach that they bring with it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of why I put that out there. I was like, these two between players and Georgia, Florida, or Florida, Georgia, those ones are the ones that are definitely going to be the biggest. So I figured in terms of how many responses I was going to get, if you took the average, those two would probably be the top two on the list.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously, you know me, like, I look forward to the ugly sweater bar crawl every year. Like,
yeah.
There's little things
people
like
have
that too.
Yeah. That's what makes this area kind of cool, too. I think there's a lot of those events. Yeah. Those, I would say little. I don't mean to lessen them in any way. They're special to the people, but they're just not coming out in masses. But I think there's a lot of events like that, which is kind of cool. And things that I don't even know exist that I probably should go to. I think we all probably feel that way, that you just can't get to everything. But I think there's a lot of those. Like, Austin brings up events sometimes. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they go to a lot of cool events like that, whether it's in Riverside or wherever it might be. And I'm like, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. That's a good. Once we get the kids out of the house or off to school, maybe I'll start going to those events. I'll act like I'm even older than I already am. Hey, Tom Brady. Real quick thought on football before we get to an interview I did about Urban Meyer. And Tom Brady signs an extension with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Here's what this move is all about. It's about saving $19 million on the cap. It's about rearranging money. Patrick Mahomes is kind of doing the same thing. These teams are really strapped against the cap. I mean, they made a run to the Super Bowl, those two teams that I mentioned. But Kansas City, because the cap lowers, because they have some big contracts, because their quarterback is making a ton of money, they had to make moves like buy Eric Fisher, buy Schwartz. They lose both their tackles. Now they have to kind of adjust Mahomes' contract. Again, these aren't big deals, the restructures, I don't think, but they certainly give room for the team to maneuver and maybe sign more players. And Patrick Mahomes kind of gets it, I think. I don't think this was contentious anyway. I don't think he's bothered by it in any way. He's not going to lose money in any way. So it's fine. I think the players don't have a big problem, especially those contending teams, because they know, hey, if we can get one more guy in here because I do this, we got a better chance of winning. Tom Brady is the epitome of that. He has done that for the last seemingly 10 years of his career. But he essentially has like this 4-year extension, I think. They say it's good through 22, but then somewhere I saw it could be like a 4-year thing. Either way, even if it's just good through 22, that's 2 more years, 44, 45. I do wonder if that's it. He always threw out the number 45 when he was in New England. Does he just try to play next year? Does it start going downhill? Can he keep it riding like he has for so long now? Can he still play at a high level, an elite level, have fun without getting injured? Is it an injury that knocks him out and says, hey, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to rehab. That happens to players. So I think there's a 2-year window now in sight for the light at the end of the tunnel for Tom Brady. I think this latest extension, again, which was more of a move money around thing, but this latest extension could get him to 45. And if you go back and read Tom Brady, I believe he said he wanted to get to 45 years ago. And so that could reach that milestone and say, see you later. And by the way, in the next 2 years, maybe there's another Super Bowl trophy. Maybe it's number 8. Maybe it's crazy 8. I can't believe there will be. I think what the Bucs did was terrific, but I don't know if they're duplicating it. We'll find out. But Brady's going to try it for at least another year. I wouldn't rule out a second year. I think after 22, he's done. I think that's it. I think the max he's going to play is another 2 years. I don't see. Keep in mind, Giselle and his family, they're like, what else do you have to prove every time he wins a Super Bowl? Like, they want him to be done. And he still keeps coming back and playing. So maybe he does, but I would say right now my money's on Tom Brady going through 2022. He's got 2 more years left in him. So enjoy it, people. The greatest of all time, the quarterback position in the NFL, is going to play 2 more years, I think. And this latest extension to help move money around will get him to that finish line with the Tampa Bay Bucs. I'll give him 3 years with the Bucs too, which would be a pretty good run for Tampa and a heck of an investment by the Buccaneers. They never knew how this thing was going to work out when they made the plunge, and well, it's already paid off handsomely with a Super Bowl this past year. All right, we've been talking about an interview that I did. I did this interview actually like weeks ago, and we just haven't rolled it out. But I thought we were talking about Urban Meyer so much today that I'd bring it back and reveal it to you. This is not like the royal family interview, Coos. It's a little bit different than that. It's Greg Fry. Greg Fry played quarterback at Ohio State. He was from the Cincinnati area. Urban Meyer was a volunteer coach at his high school in Cincinnati to kind of kick off his coaching career. He then would be a grad assistant at Ohio State when Greg Fry was like a freshman quarterback in Columbus. Well, Greg Fry's still around the Columbus area. He mentors quarterbacks, and he's involved in some broadcasting as well. And I had the chance to catch up with him recently about the hire of Urban Meyer and what to expect and where it all started from Meyer. Here's my conversation with Greg Fry. Well, let's go to Columbus, Ohio. Greg Fry, former Ohio State Buckeye quarterback, joins us right now. And, well, it goes a little bit deeper than that. Not just an Ohio State Buckeye quarterback, but spent some time around Urban Meyer back in the earlier days. I think it was 1985, St. Xavier in high school when Urban Meyer was a volunteer coach. You were a senior in high school. Is that correct, Greg?
That is correct. I was a senior quarterback at St. Xavier, and Urban was coaching the defensive backs at St. Xavier, but he was also spending a lot of time with my good friend John Sabatello. Now I say good friend, but he was our offensive coordinator at the time. And John has told me some stories where Urban would come to his house and they would just watch a lot of film. And Urban was very interested in what we were doing offensively. And I will tell you that we were, for 1985, we were doing some stuff that nobody else was doing. And to me, I think that really planted a seed because we had a fun offense that year. We threw for a bazillion yards. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And I tend to ask people like a trivia question, like, where did Urban Meyer get his coaching start? And most people think, they see Bowling Green or Ohio State, and they don't know that it started at St. Xavier because I believe he just graduated from UC in Cincinnati, played a little bit of minor league baseball, and then got his coaching start at St. Xavier.
How about that? And then the next year you go to Ohio State, and he ends up being a grad assistant there, right? I mean, so the early days.
He did, and there's a story there too, which I never knew until Urban and I played in a golf outing. It's probably been 6 years. It was actually in 2014, in May of 2014, for a fundraiser locally, and we played together for 6 holes. And he says, he goes, "Do you know how I got the GA job at Ohio State?" I said, "Well, no." He said, "Well, the coaches from Ohio State were down recruiting me, and but they also needed a graduate assistant. So they talked to our head coach, Steve Rasso, and conversation back and forth, handshake deal. We need a guy. You want to be the guy?" He said, "Yes." Shook hands. And the coach even told him, he said, "Look, we need an offensive GA or a defensive GA. Tell him you want tight ends. When Earl Bruce asks you when you go up there, tell him you want to be the tight ends." And that's how it went down. And I had no idea until he told me that, years later.
How about that? Pretty cool story. A little background on Urban Meyer and Greg Fry with us, former Ohio State quarterback, and it started at St. Xavier. You mentioned defensive backs, what he played at Cincinnati, and then he starts coaching there, moves over to tight end. But at Florida, especially, becomes known as an offensive innovator, and what he did with Alex Smith, even at Utah. How do you view him as a coach? I mean, is he an offensive guy? Is he just this CEO type? I mean, how would you label Urban as a head coach?
I mean, he's grown and matured. I mean, he's a true head coach, but from an offensive standpoint, he is brilliant. And because I was coaching high school football in the early 2000s, and I was watching a lot of Utah film because I was really just really curious as to what he was doing and why they were having so much success. And, like any other coach, I was an offensive coordinator in high school. I was borrowing plays. I'm like, I'm using that. I'll use that. So even back then, I remember just how ahead of the game he was. And he just kept innovating. It really, I think we got to Florida is where it really got fun because he had some great talent. And he knew how to maximize the talent with his creativity. And to me, he was a trendsetter in the game of college football, the way that he helped to change offensive football.
I read a lot of stuff about Urban, going back. Again, we have a familiarity a little bit from the Florida days just down the road here in Jacksonville. And obviously we saw what he did at Ohio State and what he's become. But if you look back and you spend some time in his hometown, the word intensity comes to mind. I mean, it's just the word I keep hearing. By the way, brilliance, another one that I hear too from a coaching standpoint, but intensity. Is that what you see even when you're in a golf cart with him at a charity golf tournament?
Oh, absolutely. I've not met too many people that are more intense than I am competitively. Earl Bruce was one of them. And Earl was obviously, one of my mentors. I believe Urban would probably say the same thing because Earl's the one that ended up hiring him at Ohio State and certainly helped him along the way in his coaching journey. I count on one hand the number of people that are more intense than me and Earl Bruce, and Urban would be on that list. When he came to Ohio State, people asked me, well, how's Urban going to do? I said, well, Urban's going to win because Urban has decided that he is going to win and he will find a way. And it may not be pleasant sometimes to be around him in those cases, but he will it and it will happen. And it did. Obviously, they went 12-0 the first year, and his track record is really second to none. But I will say one more thing that he is a very intense individual. But what really caught my attention when he was at Ohio State was his ability to continue to learn. And there's some great coaches out there. I've been a high school coach. I've analyzed. I've been in the media obviously for years. There's a certain percentage of coaches that think they got all the answers, and it's probably a lower percentage. But when you won 3 national championships, you got a lot of the answers. But Urban's the type that he continues to grow and learn, and he did that at Ohio State. And one thing in particular he did, he reached out to a good friend of mine, Tim Kite, in the 2013 season. You've probably heard of Tim, and in the leadership training that he imparted, that Urban allowed on himself and the team at Ohio State at the end of the 2013 season into the 2014 season. And we all know what happened. The end of the 2014 season, they win the national championship. So to me, it's about Urban saying, okay, look, we got a lot of stuff figured out, but how can we get better? And because of that, he continued to elevate as a coach. And I believe that's one of the reasons that he will have success in the NFL, because he knows it's a different thing. There's certain things he's got to do differently, but he understands how to adapt and grow and learn. And that's one value that he has in spades.
Greg Fry with us, former Ohio State quarterback, spent some time in the early years around Urban Meyer as well. And you bring up an interesting point, because I think especially here in the state of Florida, it didn't end well with the Gators, despite winning 2 national titles, which I tell Gator fans all the time, you should build a statue for them because of that. But it doesn't end well. They don't do well after. And so there's this perception of Urban Meyer. But I don't think people have allowed the last part you just said, that he's grown, even matured. He's maybe different than he was even in 2006, 2008, 2009. When you see the stuff about Urban Meyer, this polarizing guy, the way I've labeled it after my trip is, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, I'm not sure you do. Does some of this polarizing labeling of Meyer surprise you? Do you think that's kind of just the way it is?
It doesn't surprise me at all. I think it is the way it is. I mean, when you have success in the United States of America, there's a certain amount of people that are, not going to like you, or, once, they want to see the fall. And when the way he left Florida, it wasn't all clean, obviously. And look, he had some issues at Ohio State. Every coach is going to do that, or have some sort of things that you draw on as negatives. But I think from Urban's perspective, again, I'll go back to, he cared so much about his players. He's going to be hard on you. There's no doubt about that. And again, I'm referencing really college players at this point. Very tough on them, but also love them. And I relate back to the way Earl Bruce was. When I played for Earl Bruce, I could probably use the word, I disliked him greatly, but I respected him so much. And I knew at the end of the day, he loved me. And Urban is just like that. He and Shelley are tremendous with players. I don't think that's going to change at the NFL level, although there's not as much I would call babysitting with NFL players. as there would be with college players. But at the end of the day, he truly cares about the players and the team. He may come across as so driven that, if you're not in his focus, you don't like it because he's not looking at you or paying attention to you. But that's the way he's wired. And, that will turn some people off. But at the end of the day, he does care. I think that's important to know.
I'm going to let you go, but let me ask you one question outside of Urban Meyer. You are a quarterback by trade. You train quarterbacks. Even now, you tutored and mentored Brady Quinn, of course. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's coming to Jacksonville. When you look at this guy play football, it's hard for me to find anybody to say anything bad about him. Will you be the first?
No, I won't. I'd say he stepped on the Buckeyes plenty of times until the last game here when the Buckeyes got the best of him. But, I'm very impressed by what he does. I watched some film of him this year. As Ohio State was getting ready to play Clemson, I had some extra time. I really broke the film down as much as I could. And I was so impressed. He's just so sound fundamentally. He gets the ball out of his hands. And at the NFL level, you got to be a drop back guy. You got to get the ball out of your hands. And there's nobody better than that than Tom Brady. And Tom's not the most mobile guy, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But he understands I got to get the ball out of my hands, which comes with a mileage of pre-snap reads, mileage of film, and just time and reps, et cetera. And there's no doubt Trevor Lawrence, I'm not going to compare him to Tom Brady, but certainly his track record so far of winning and playing, from a standpoint of excellence at the quarterback position is there. So clearly a top prospect, and I would think he'll do well at the next level.
Greg Fry, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for chatting a little bit about Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. Be well.
You got it. Thank you, Brent.
That's Greg Fry. It was a good conversation. Fun listening to kind of the early days of Urban Meyer, his thoughts now and how that has evolved in Urban's career. Obviously, he's up in Columbus, so has been around Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes and has had a career with Ohio State. And then even his thoughts on Trevor Lawrence. So we appreciate Greg Fry taking some time to chat with us about Urban Meyer, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and what's to come with Trevor Lawrence as well. We're going to chat a little bit more about the Players' Championship. We have a solo leader. His name is Lee Westwood. He leads the 2021 Players' Championship after 36 holes, at least 36 holes for him. We'll see if anybody can catch him before the night is done. Good play out there by Lee Westwood. 6 under, 66. Our coverage all week long from the Players' Championship, sponsored by Talent Wealth Management. We'll be back on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and pleasantly warm today. Highs will reach the upper 70s, inland, cooler at the beaches. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jacks for the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Have you seen it? The all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota is open, and they're ready to celebrate with big savings, even on pre-owned. Celebrate savings and hearing the words, "You're approved." That's right. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. Plus, if you want selection, Arlington's got it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, what are you waiting for? Celebrate with savings and come see the brand new facility at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill St. Augustine is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy eggs, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
You're pregnant. How far? 1 month, 2. No doctor yet. I can't afford it. Protect yourself and your baby. The health department can help you out. Test for STDs. I don't have diseases. You don't know. You don't always have symptoms. STDs make you and your baby sick. I don't want my baby sick. No one cares more about your baby than you. I'm calling my county health department.
A message from the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
In Florida, it's not if the storms are coming, it's when the storms are coming. And that's why you need the Chief. Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, with a proven track record of keeping local families safe. Rain, heat, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes. We get it all. Just more reasons why you need the Chief. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, backed by the First Alert Weather Team. Only on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Everybody loves selfies, right? It's the way we all like to say, hey, it's me. No pretending, just the real you. Seems like a little thing, but little things mean a lot. Adding a smarter banking account at Community First might seem like a little thing too. But if you want a smart way to move your money around, you know what works for you. So do what's right for you. Community First. Just be yourself. Add an account on your phone, tablet, or desktop at justbeyourself.com.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
Russell Wilson's agent on the record gave Shefty 4 teams Russell Wilson would like to play for. That is an important distinction in this conversation.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Austin Lane.
Are we on right now or not? Like our screen? I guess we're good.
Brent Martineau.
Yeah, you got to go all the way. Yeah, we're back. Thanks for your concern.
You're welcome.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
We've got a hell of a lunch table there, Players Lounge. Just decided to sit down and join Rory and I. So collectively, 4 people sitting at this table, myself, Rory, Henrik has just left, and Tyrrell, 29 over. How you doing? Oh, what a bunch of muppets.
That is Ian Poulter. You know, Ian Poulter's a guy I didn't really, I don't know, I get caught up in the Ryder Cup stuff, and so Ian Poulter, we're in Ryder Cup time, you don't want to like him. But later in his career, you appreciate him. He is just so outgoing, he's funny, and that was on Instagram, and he was sitting with Rory McIlroy, who had a rough day on Thursday, and others. And they said 29 over par. It was a bad day, but they were drinking it away and having some dinner after their round. So pretty light stuff there from Ian Poulter. Brent Martineau back here at the Players' Championship. Half hour to go here on our show, but we'll lead you right into the weekend on TV, CBS 47, Fox 30. Don't forget tonight, ACC semifinal for Florida State against North Carolina. Try to get a little revenge from that bad second half from a couple weeks ago. You can hear it right here on ESPN 690. Virginia is out, so that part of the semifinal isn't even happening, but Florida State with a chance to get to the ACC championship game essentially had a triple bye because Duke is gone. Kansas obviously out of the Big 12 as well. You've been hearing that today on the updates. Pretty wild what's going on in these conference tournaments, and we'll see if it stays that way going into the brackets and March Madness over the next couple of weeks. But you can listen to Florida State basketball right here on ESPN 690. Starts at 8 o'clock. Live Local Loud will lead you up until that tip is at 8:30 between the Tar Heels and the Seminoles. Coos, let's play a little audio roulette. What you got?
Okay, first one actually kind of on that is Carlos Boozer, who's talking about the situation for Virginia.
I feel bad for these guys. Virginia's the top team in the conference, doing great. They were rolling as well. Now they don't have a chance to win the ACC tournament championship. I do believe they still have a chance to play in the tournament. They have to have 5 or 6, 7 days of negative tests with at least 6 players, I believe is how it works. But we'll fine-tune that a little bit later on. But I just, it's tough when you earn the right to compete in a game and then don't have the chance because of COVID. Now, first and foremost, I hope the kids are okay. Hope the kids are healthy. Hopefully they're asymptomatic. They're not going through anything really bad medically. That's first and foremost. But on the basketball side of things, just feel bad these guys can't compete.
That's Carlos Boozer. And listen, I do too. I just think it's the nature of it. They are going to do whatever they can to get this in. This is one of those situations where I kind of felt like sports was in this way, and it didn't really come down to this, but it doesn't matter who's playing. They're going to play because NCAA wants the money, and the rest of the schools want the money from this. This is a big deal for places like UNF and Jacksonville University and so many across the country. It's a big deal they play this tournament. So, however they need to get it done, there's going to be some bad luck involved here, and there's going to be some big teams that probably get bounced because of COVID. But if you have at least 5 players ready to go, you can play. That's what the NCAA is saying, 5 players. And we'll see. Now, that's a huge disadvantage, of course, but if you can field 5, you can go. And so very interesting to see Virginia and now Kansas and some of these other teams. And it's going to continue to happen. This is not going to be the isolated incident here in these conference tournaments. It's going to happen. Something is going to happen where somebody's going to basically lose a game because of COVID-19, Coos.
And it keeps I keep going back to Austin when you guys play the Guess Who the Voice Is game. And, either one of you get one that's kind of a cheap one and Austin does that. You feel good about that because – like FSU moves to the next one, but they didn't get to play. And so it's always kind of like does it cheapen it a little bit if you get to go to the next round, but you didn't have to compete for it?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it does. But at the same time, if let's just name a school. Let's name Siena. If Siena makes it to the NCAA tournament and they win and they win their first game and then they win and they get to the Sweet 16 because a team couldn't participate, I'll tell you this. I'm Siena, and I'm in the Sweet 16, baby, and I don't care how I got there. Mm-hmm. What it hurts more right now because teams trying to get into the tournament don't have the opportunity. Like Duke would have had to run the table, and they don't get the chance to get in, and now they're not going to get in. Their resume is just not good enough.
Yeah. So
Next up.
All right, here's Louis Riddick talking about Trey Lance.
As fantastic as Lamar has been, and obviously he's been a league MVP, as fantastic as Josh has been with the improvements he made in his accuracy, this young man, Trey Lance, up here at North Dakota State, look, I think he is ahead of both of those guys as a pure thrower is concerned, as a guy who can really do everything that you need a quarterback to do, not just running the football, but throwing the football, really taking charge of the offense from pre-snap to post-snap, changing protections, making audibles, going from pass to run to pass, getting them in the optimum plays. Look, I think he is light years above where people believe he necessarily is because of the fact that he played at a lower level of competition. I think people are slighting him in that way.
That's Louis Riddick. I don't think people are slighting Trey Lance because he played in lower competition. We've seen enough quarterbacks come out of there. I don't think that's it. I think the reason why they might slight him, and this is probably unfair to him, but it's circumstantial. And one is he played one game last year, and it was a showcase game, and it wasn't really that great. But because of COVID, he didn't play. And so it's been a long time since we've seen him on a football field and really had a chance to evaluate since his name popped up so heavily on the radar. The other thing that hurts him, I think in a subconscious way, is the way things have worked out for Carson Wentz to this point. There's split views on Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz came from North Dakota. And so, again, there's no correlation necessarily. But I just think subconsciously, I think we lose favor in a guy like Trey Lance because of that. We're going to talk more about Trey Lance on Monday when Austin comes back. He's got some ties to North Dakota State, and so he has a little more intel on that, so I held it off today. But based on what Riddick says, this kid's a top prospect, a great prospect, top 10 pick. He's there for a reason. Now, who's going to take the leap for him, especially since he didn't play last year? I think that's what's going to hurt him more. Not the skill set, not the tape, not the everything else. The fact that he didn't play last year and maybe that simple correlation subconsciously to Carson Wentz and the way things have gone for Carson.
Yeah, it's, one of those things. That was the one that I saw a lot of tweets going off because, he was doing his thing today and Urban Meyer was not there, and I guess a lot of people were upset about that. That's why I brought that up earlier in the day.
Yeah, I'll tell them to settle down about that. Urban Meyer was here at the Players' Championship talking to us instead, and he's got Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't need Trey Lance.
Deal. Okay, so this audio from John Kitna, actually on a podcast. I don't know if you've heard this yet.
There was a time that I played a game with a guy that was drunk in the huddle. There was a time that a guy showed up late to a game in the NFL. You need to be there 2 hours and 15 minutes ahead of time. And he showed up under an hour before the game and he started. Those are weird things now. That's tough.
I'm sorry. I can't. I got to go back to the drunk guy in the huddle. Did everybody know the guy was drunk? Did the staff know? Or were you just like, whoa, dude, you smell like Rumplemints?
I'm not sure if the staff knew, but I think the guy was like, that was kind of his normal. So, I mean, he was drunk and had close to 200 yards receiving now. So it was crazy.
Well, wait a minute. That's John Kitna.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I'm going to be a little careful to make light of this because while it is kind of like, holy cow, is he really? Like that did happen? I believe that has happened, does happen, and could happen. And the reason I wouldn't have said this 10 years ago, but we watched what happened in Jacksonville with Justin Blackman.
Mm-hmm.
And the story around Justin Blackman, and there are many, but he had such an issue with alcohol at one time, and he could still. We don't really know what Justin Blackman's up to. He's out of the league, of course. But he would still show up to meetings and practices and all of that on time, like 99% of the time. And so he either hit it well or could function well and still make it. And then when he played well. And I'm not trying to insinuate that Justin Blackman played drunk. What I'm trying to tell you is some of these guys are like able to do that. Like it might not be as far-fetched as you think. And so, some people have I'm sure people have been high playing before, right? Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, whatever it might be. I would think that would be a very hard thing to do if you're drunk, if you have alcohol in you, especially a significant amount. But I'm not laughing this one off because I think it's probably been done by more than one, whether it's practices, games, and others. And we've seen the situation pretty much up close in Jacksonville as well along the way.
Yeah, I heard that one, and that was my first thought is I wanted to ask Austin if there was ever a time where he thought, someone with them on the, field potentially was.
Yeah, I bet the answer to that is yes, maybe not direct alcohol, but it could be a guy was high, or something like that. I think certainly I would say the answer. I don't want to sit here and tell you that 9 out of 10 people in a huddle have seen that before.
Right.
I just wouldn't be astonished if it's happened more than once.
Okay, so this will be the last one here. Here's Patrick Ewing talking.
I do want to say one thing, though. I thought this was my building, and I feel terrible that I'm getting stopped, accosted, asking for passes. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am, and I'm getting stopped. I can't move around this building. Like I was like, what the hell? Is this Madison Square Garden? I'm going to have to call Mr. Dolan and say, geez, is my number in the rafters or what?
That's Patrick Ewing. That's kind of how I feel around this place, TPC Sawgrass. I mean, doesn't everybody know who I am or what? Patrick, yeah, that was an interesting one. I tried to see a little bit of the fallout, Kuz, and I didn't get much of it on social media. It sounds bad the way Ewing says it.
Yeah, but honestly, I think most people were on his side, though, at least from what I heard. And it was more because this isn't the first, retired Knicks player to have a situation like this. So it was more just being mad at Dolan again.
I think you're right. And that's why I want to be careful with that. I think when you hear that, you're like, oh, my gosh, this guy's egotistical.
Yeah.
This guy's,
And in the time of day, it was like right now with COVID and everything like that, so like there might be even more heightened security. So like that was my first thought. But at the same time, they should know who he is.
Yeah, and I think it just does say something about how you treat your players, present and past. Because there almost should be, hey, if this guy ever walks in the door, ever, in this facility,
Well,
you better know who he is,
right,
and you better not stop him. And and if you do stop him, sure, you could laugh it off. Patrick Ewing would say, "You don't know who I am. My name's in the rafters."
Right.
But I think you're right. I think it's a bigger picture thing with that place, with Dolan, with everything else, and trying to exacerbate the point that it's all messed up. It's still not where it needs to be.
Well, and say, I was trying to think of if that happened here locally. Say Maurice Jones-Drew walked in and it maybe some new intern that just doesn't know or something like that did it. I think it would just be a one-off thing. But because this has happened numerous times with other players, I think it's heightened and people are paying more attention to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. If you walked into the building, Kuz, right, and you've been here now for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And the people at the front desk didn't know who you were, you'd almost kind of go really? I've worked here for 8 to 10. You naturally would do that. I think Patrick Ewing, you do that on steroids because his name is in the rafters. He's Patrick Ewing for crying out loud. He's 7 feet tall.
Look up. You can see my jerseys up there.
and he's kind of unmistakable. Yeah, I thought I was going to have initially when I saw this, I was like, what the heck? And then I thought about it more. You know what? Probably has a pretty good point the way he's saying it.
Yeah.
And
I think if it was any other team, any other situation like that where it's only happened once, maybe that's how this is interpreted. But because it's the Knicks, I think it was taken a little differently.
Hey, for the next 20 to 50 years, however long it takes, don't ever ask about Trevor Lawrence. That's Trevor Lawrence, okay? His name's going to be on the Pride. He's going to be in Canton, Ohio. Around here, don't ever ask who he is. You don't need a badge for Trevor Lawrence. See, it works the same way. It's a good lesson to be learned from Patrick Ewing. We'll be back from the Players' Championship. One more update on the leaderboard, and I do want to finish with, are you rooting for Bryson DeChambeau this weekend? He's a couple shots off the lead, right in the mix. Would you like to see him get a Players' Championship trophy? We'll be back live from the Players. Our coverage all week sponsored by Talon Wealth Management here on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter Update.
Happy Friday. I'm Jake Mitchell. In spite of the fact that a weak offensive line was the reason the Kansas City Chiefs struggled so hard in the last Super Bowl, they have still cut both of their starting tackles, both of which missed the big game because of injuries. The move clears about $18 million in cap space. Here's Diana Rossini, ESPN NFL reporter, with her take on the situation.
We talked last week all about this week being a really difficult week. We called it a massacre. At least one coach told me that. And that's what it is. Look at what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. An offensive line that we knew was struggling in the Super Bowl because they didn't have those two guys. No longer on the team now.
In college hoops, the Duke Blue Devils have pulled out of the ACC tourney and subsequently canceled the rest of their season due to a positive COVID test and contact tracing. The SportsCenter Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
How many teams really need to change the starting quarterback position? That list is probably 4 or 5 teams.
They are.
Washington, Chicago. Let's throw Carolina in there, even though they have a starter. Patriots is 4. Who else?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Got a business trip, long weekend, or maybe you just really want to try that new Toyota before you buy it? Then get it all when you rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. With easy online reservations and rental rates as low as $19.95 a day, there's nothing stopping you from hitting the open road. You can even rent 2021 models. Rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Try it before you buy it and reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffin Service, we fix what others can't. But it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now: Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Honda of the Avenues is the winner of the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award, and you'll be satisfied too with the great deals happening in their service department. Honda of the Avenues has a 5% discount for seniors all the time and 10% military discounts. Plus, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday in the service department. That includes a free tire rotation with oil change and 5% off any other recommended service. See why so many people are giving Honda of the Avenues 5 stars. Find out more at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
How's it going? Oh, let me tell you how it's going. So far this year, I've broken my pinky toe, had a flat tire, and currently I'm trying to pass a kidney stone the size of Rhode Island.
Well, karma strikes again.
What?
Nothing. Oh, look, it's the first Crooks Are Us survey of 2021. They're asking crooks like us to list the top reasons we avoid safe touch houses.
There's the crash and smash technology, the video monitoring.
Yeah, but what's number 1?
Gotta be the two-way communicator.
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah. The two-way communicator leads to verified alarms, which lead to faster response times, which are all very bad for us crooks.
Which all just circles back to the Crooks Are Us golden rule. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Need ammo? Then grab your friends and come to the gun show. Get them while you still can. Hundreds of guns, knives, and more with concealed carry classes daily. USA Gun Shows is coming to the Ramona Pavilion in Jacksonville this Saturday and Sunday. Follow USA Gun Shows on Facebook and online at usagunshows.com.
Max. I can't wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. That's not where I am right where I want to be.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. By the way, Coy Creek, remember we were talking about that high school? And they're the Toros. They named the football coach today, Mike Kolakowski. Mike Kolakowski, head football coach at Coy Creek, as they start up their brand new school, brand new football program, brand new athletic program down there in St. Johns County. Brent Martineau here at the Players Championship, wrapping up a week. It's been a fun week. We love this week. As earlier stated, I think it was, I don't know who now on Twitter. Some folks on Twitter were like, we think the media's favorite event is the Players Championship. The media does love this event. And I kind of put it to this analogy. This is kind of like, and Kuz, you've been out here during the week. I mean, I know you haven't been this week, but it's like, remember that class, or I don't know if you guys did this if you live down in like the South, but in the North, when you go to, like, spring comes, and it's like April 12th, and it's a really nice day, like 70 degrees. When you're like 5th grade or something, the teacher will say, hey, let's go do class outside for the next hour. And you go sit on the grass and you learn math or English or whatever. And it's like, that was a fun day. Well, that's what the Players' Championship is like. You're not in a studio. You're not in an office. And I know a lot of people have been out of the office anyway, but it's just a different setting. You can wear shorts. You kind of do your own thing. So I think that's why the media likes the Players' Championship. That, and it's obviously a big event, fun event to cover. The PR folks are awesome here. They really help out the local media, even though they have a global media around. So there's a lot of different reasons why. But I can't lie. This is a favorite event of the Jacksonville media, but I think for good reasons. Lee Westwood, is he the favorite to win it now? 6 under 66. He's 9 under par, 2-shot lead as of now. Going into the weekend, Matthew Fitzpatrick has one more hole to play. He's a trio of guys at 7 under. That includes Sergio Garcia. Got it back to even par for the round, so he's 2 shots behind Lee Westwood. Bryson DeChambeau, 3 shots off the lead. Rory McIlroy, Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler, all going to miss the cut. Jordan Spieth makes the cut. Phil Mickelson makes the cut. Kuz, here's the question. Are you rooting for DeChambeau? He's like the name in golf right now. He's making golf fun. He's not always the most likable player. I think to some he's a bit more polarizing. Would you like to see DeChambeau win the Players on Sunday?
Honestly, I don't necessarily care if he wins. I just want to see him hit a bomb. Like, that's how I feel about him.
Yeah.
I just want to see him drive something crazy,
The thing about this course is I'm not sure, like the 6th hole at Bay Hill, they had that last week. I don't know if he's going to have that kind of moment here.
Right.
I think it's bigger than that. I think people do want to see him win. Now, can he win? He's got the game. It's more than just the driver. I actually heard last night his par 3 scoring has been terrific. So I actually think I'd like to see him win the Players' Championship. Find out this weekend if he will. Hope you enjoy the weekend, everybody. Good work by Kuz. Good luck to Austin in his fight tomorrow night. Live, local, loud coming up next on ESPN 690. Have a good one.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover,